Welcome, day two, the Best You Virtual Expo in London. Very excited to be back. Very excited to be back in London. Well, look, day two and day three, we're just going to carry on and carry on and carry on. We had a great, amazing day yesterday. Phenomenal, fantastic speakers. We talked about all sorts of things. Rob Moore was talking about podcasting. I had some panels. We were talking about the Best You TV, the Best You TV series. And well, look, it was just an amazing day with great inspirational people. And today we've got so much more. Today, my lineup for the main stage, I'm going to start literally in a few minutes with Janie Lee Grace. She's going to be joining me literally, as I said, in a few minutes. And then at 11:30, we've got Paul O'Mahony, who's going to be joining us at 11:30 till 1 o'clock. And we've got a couple of short video interviews that I've done over the years, like with Dr. John DeMartini, Joe Polish, which we're going to be showcasing literally throughout the day as well. And then I've got at 2 o'clock Darren Winters, who's going to be talking about trading. Look, becoming or having the right mindset and being a positive, confident person, it's great, but being financially independent is also very important. So I think what Darren is going to bring here later on today, and I've actually attended his trading course, I would highly recommend that you join us. So that's going to be happening at 2 o'clock. And then later on in the afternoon, I've got David Fagan, who's joining us from the US. He's joining us at that's 3:35 UK GMT time, and then at the end of the day, at literally just before 4:45, around 16:45 GMT, we've got Mas Sadadi, who's going to be joining us, and he is a phenomenal speaker, massive following, and he's going to be talking about exponential intelligence and really about chaos today. So we've got an amazing lineup of speakers. As I said, it's day two. We are giving away so many great products. And for example, Darren Winters is giving a free training coaching lesson. If you attend, his talk, if you listen to his talk, you could be one of the lucky winners. But apart from that, we're giving away all sorts of great things, access to the Best You Online. Maybe you could win an episode to the Best TV series that we just launched. Maybe you might win one of the packages we've got, Expand Your Brand. David Fagan is giving a publishing package. We've got so many speakers and so many other coaches that are involved in the show that are literally giving us some great things away. So not only you can learn from these amazing people, but you could also be practically being coached by them. Tomorrow, for example, Lisa Nichols is giving also a coaching lesson where you could be working with her on public speaking. That's a phenomenal giveaway as well. So I highly recommend that you join us, attend all the talks so you can win. And then, hey, who knows? We might pick your name. We're going to be announcing the winners throughout the day today. We're going to be announcing the winners tomorrow also. And anyway, what I wanted to do is bring Janie Lee Grace. But before I do, I just wanted to read her bio very quickly. Janie Lee Grace is an Amazon #1 best-selling author, speaker, and co-presenter on the UK's biggest radio show, BBC Radio 2 Steve Wright, in the afternoon. She runs the popular recommendations blog, the imperfectlynatural.com, and Jenny has written 5 books on holistic living, including the #1 Amazon bestseller, Imperfectly Natural Women, and the latest book has just been published. Her book, Happy, Healthy, Sober, Ditch the Booze and Take Control of Your Life, encourages everyone to look again at their relationship with alcohol. After ditching the booze days, Janie launched a podcast, Alcohol Free Life, focusing on sober self-care. And she gave a TEDx talk, Sobriety Rocks, Who Knew, in July 2019, and launched the Sober Club, a membership portal and community for people who are committed to sobriety and want to upscale their life without the booze and focus on health and well-being. Janie is passionate about encouraging people to ditch the chemicals, focus on great nutrition, self-care, and finding their purpose, as she found for herself that quitting the booze was the missing link in the holistic living picture. She also offers coaching and is trained in EFT, Matrix, reimprinting, and NLP. Janie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I didn't realize I was kicking off today. So is that because you're thinking people might be hungover? Is that why it is?
Well, listen, probably not as many hangover situations now. I don't know, actually. You would probably know more than I do, but I think probably, not being able to go out on a Thursday, Friday night, probably has reduced the amount of alcohol that people have. Is a good thing.
I hope so. Yeah. Can we do some questions as well when I've chatted for a bit?
Absolutely, of course. I'll jump in. I'd love to. I've got quite a lot of questions I'd love to ask you, and I think what you're doing is amazing. I think you've been really helping people for a long time. So and you're a true pro. And I want to thank you so much for your support for the Best You Expo, Janie. So
thank you. I think it's amazing. Thank you.
The floor is
So
yours.
so I'll just start by saying I'm not a very swish. I don't have any slides or anything for this. This is very much hashtag working from home. And if you're new to the tech as well, you'll know how exhausting it is. I was saying to someone the other day that I had been at an event, a really big kind of conference in Canada a couple of years ago. Remember those days when we used to travel? A couple of years ago. And it was all about using tech to help your business and, to get that sort of 6-figure income, how you could use tech. And I must confess, I was feeling quite overwhelmed. And then at one point, this woman stood up and she said, I'm not sure I can do this because I can't really work the soap dispenser. That's me. So I'm very grateful that we have someone backstage, as it were, to handle the tech today. So welcome, and as Bernardo says, my talk is happy, healthy, sober, and I must stress from the off that it's completely non-judgmental. I'm absolutely not for prohibition. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. I just love to share my own story and give you a few tips. And the question that I'd start with, which I would love you to ask yourself, is, would my life be better physically and emotionally without the booze? And if a little voice says, hell yes, then listen up, because this was where I was at a few years ago. I must stress I was never at rock bottom. In fact, I think the expression is high bottomed, which is great for a woman my age. But I didn't ever have a rock bottom moment. What was really happening for me was that I was waking up pretty much every single day at 3 a.m., absolutely hating myself, berating myself for yet again having 2 glasses, 3 glasses. Oh, maybe I'd drunk at lunchtime as well. And this voice in my head, which was very loud at 3 a.m., just said, what are you doing? You're meant to be queen of holistic living. You've written books on natural living, for goodness sake. You're all about ditching the chemicals. You're encouraging people to live their best lives. And yet there you are, drinking too much toxic liquid every single day. Something isn't right. Something has to give. And so I would lie there with my heart racing, panicking, really, because I didn't know how to get out of this trap. And often I would say a prayer and say, listen, God, universe, angels, if you're out there, just let me be okay today. No hangover. Please let me be okay. And then I promise you I'll never touch another drop. Well, interestingly enough, God kept his side of the bargain most days. I didn't have a hangover. Such was my tolerance. But by about 6 o'clock the next day, another voice was in my head, and this was the voice of the wine witch. And this was a very different voice, much chirpier, much happier. And that voice would say things like, well, sun's over the Yardarm, somewhere in the world. Must be time to have a nice cheeky little Sauvignon Blanc. And then the voice would say, what? You're not drinking? You've decided you're not going to drink? You said you're not going to touch another drop? Who are you kidding? Don't be ridiculous. Sober is an anagram of bores. And anyway, a glass of wine is good for you. I read it in the paper. And it would all start over again. I was literally on this bizarre treadmill where I was locked into this spiral. You see, I didn't ever have an off switch. This is the point. I wasn't born with an off switch. I really believe that. If I have one glass, it goes on and it goes on. And I believe there's a kind of booze elevator, if you like, and it only goes downhill. Now, you see, I mentioned that I didn't ever have a rock bottom moment. And I think that's really important to stress because certainly in the UK, I think we've been brainwashed over the years into thinking that there are 2 types of drinkers. There are those who are at rock bottom and they're clinically dependent and they need help and they need alcohol services and they need rehabilitation. And then we think there's everyone else, happy social drinkers who just occasionally lose it and can't hold their beer. Actually, the reality is very different. What it really is a spectrum of what we now know the term is grey area drinkers. Most people aren't at rock bottom, thankfully, yet. Most people, if they're drinking regularly, are grey area drinkers, somewhere on that spectrum. In my TEDx talk, I said there are at least 50 shades of grey and none of them sexy. So where are you on that spectrum? And where would you like to be? Because one thing's for certain, you definitely do not have to wait until you get to rock bottom before you step off. So I didn't ever have that dramatic fall from grace. Nobody would have ever known that there was any kind of problem whatsoever. I didn't ever miss a day off work. As I say, I didn't really ever have a hangover. Nobody would have known, but I knew. And as I was getting older, I knew that this was going to really start to affect me, and it was going to affect me big time. And as a holistic living expert, this is the really bizarre thing that I now look back and ask myself, what was I thinking of? I actually do genuinely believe that we've been all kind of locked into an illusion. You know, the kid's story of the Emperor's New Clothes. And alcohol is a little bit like that. We've all bought into this illusion that alcohol is great, that alcohol is the thing that makes us have fun, that makes us sexy or confident or relaxed or chilled. Funny that, does both allegedly. But the reality is the Emperor's not wearing any clothes. It doesn't actually do any of those things. But somehow I didn't know this. I find it quite incredible now to think that I didn't. But most people don't, because as I say, I was a holistic living expert. I'd written lots of books. In the course of my work, I was usually lucky enough to be able to have various treatments. I often went to review certain treatments. So I was very fortunate. I got to see reflexologists and aromatherapists. I had energy healing. I had all manner of stuff, really. I also had treatments and therapies such as EFT and NLP, and I make a joke, ABC, everything effectively I had tried. And occasionally, at the end of that session, if I felt comfortable with a therapist or a medical professional, I might say, I'm a bit concerned about my drinking. I'm worried I might be drinking too much. That was kind of my cry for help. And in every single case, year on year on year, they said to me, well, how much are you drinking? Of course I would lie. Clearly, who wasn't? So I'd say a couple of glasses, 2-3 glasses, sometimes a bit more. And their answer was always, well, it sounds pretty normal, but you could try having a glass of water in between, or you could try having an alcohol-free day, yeah? But only I had £1 for every time someone had said that to me. And that would give me license to carry on and start all over again. And one of the things that's frustrating me right now with the current situation that we have is that huge numbers of people are drinking more in lockdown. And actually, I'm so unbelievably grateful that that isn't me anymore, because it really would not have been pretty. And there have been lots of studies on a serious note recently that show that people are drinking to dangerous levels. They're starting drinking earlier in the day. They're drinking at home. They're drinking way too much. And what's interesting is the usual response to this when mainstream media bring on experts to talk about this is that the answer will be pretty much what I was told by therapists. It will be along the lines of try and have an alcohol-free day, or try and start drinking later in the day, or maybe just have more water in between. In other words, this kind of continues this theory that alcohol is fabulous and poor you if you just can't have as much as everyone else. There must be something a little bit wrong with you. But tell you what, you just cut down. And the end result of that is that people feel that there's something wrong with them. They feel deprived because they can't have this marvelous thing that everyone else is having. And they feel that this is a real struggle that they'll never get out of. So here's my take on it. I just wish that someone had told me years and years and years ago just how freaking fantastic life is without any booze. If only people had been telling me, had been giving me that message. If only people had been sharing that, yeah, it is an alcohol trap. Yes, so many of us are caught in it. But you know what? There's a whole world out there of people who aren't, of people who are literally living their best life without the booze. So in case you need me to remind you what is wrong with alcohol, well, they do say that it's the #1 most harmful drug. Surprising, isn't it? That's when you take into account not just harm to the individual, but harm to others, family, the impact on crime, the impact on the economy. So it's a harmful drug. It's linked to 200 different illnesses, including at least 7 types of cancer. We know that the rise in liver disease certainly in the UK is pretty massive. And the real big one is that there is a huge link between alcohol use and anxiety and depression and mental health issues. And right now, while so many people are focusing on their mental health and emotional well-being, that is one thing that could be taken out of the equation that would make an unbelievably massive difference. Now, of course, I'm not saying that if you stop drinking, you will instantly have no anxiety or no mental health issues. Of course, it's not as simplistic as that. But there's no doubt whatsoever that alcohol exacerbates pretty much every other condition. That was one of the things that was most incredible for me. I couldn't believe it when I stopped, the difference it made to my levels of anxiety. But you see, alcohol is so ingrained in our culture. It's the societal glue that sticks everything together. Everything from baby showers to play dates to, because, yeah, of course, the whole mummy drinking culture, alcohol's become mummy's little helper, hasn't it, in recent years, through to obviously parties and weddings and funerals and literally everything in between. It's, literally commiserations to celebrations. We think we can't function without alcohol in the picture. It's so ingrained. And this theory that we're either a good drinker or a bad drinker is what, as I say, keeps so many people stuck. And here's a really interesting phrase that I'm sure you will have heard before. I think it was Jason Vale who coined it the first time. And the phrase is this: alcohol is the only drug you have to justify not taking. Isn't that incredible? When we stop smoking, people say, wow, well done, good for you, incredible. You ditched the cigarettes, that's amazing. But when we quit alcohol, people will often say, oh dear, how awful for you. How bad did it get? And they will sober shame you. There are the sober shamers in this world. And interestingly enough, that can be one of the reasons people feel a little fearful of giving up, because they're afraid. They're afraid of what other people might say. They're afraid of being ridiculed. On that note of the mental health issues, by the way, there was a study done, and this was actually about 3 years ago now. So it was way before current issues. And it was a study done by LifeSearch, who found that 24 million people in the UK admitted to self-medicating with alcohol or drugs. Now, that's a high number, but I would take a wild guess that it would have probably doubled if we were to do the same study now with the impact of lockdown. Because alcohol is a depressant. There are no two ways about it. And by the way, every time you read those studies in the paper or those articles that tell you that alcohol is good for you, it isn't. I used to love those articles. I used to hang on to the every word and think, wow, that's fantastic. Red wine's good for the heart. Bring it on. Of course, I never kind of noticed the small print where it said in moderation, and I didn't have an off switch. So I just took it to mean it was okay. But the reality is, if you want the health benefits that allegedly come with red wine, have a grape. If you want the resveratrol, there will be other ways of getting that without the booze. So the really good news is the tide is turning. The tide is really turning big time, and it's absolutely incredible. I genuinely believe that if I'd tried to do this 10 years ago, it would have been so much harder. But now we have the rise of the sober curious. We have so many people calling time on alcohol, and it's fantastic news. Before lockdown, we had sober bars, dry bars popping up. We had sober meetups. We had sober dating agencies. We had sober raves, everything, sober karaoke, everything. Literally, it's changing. Most of you will know about the huge rise in alcohol and low alcohol drinks. Now, the drinks market have really noticed this trend. And it's not for no good reason, because their sales have increased massively on their non-alcoholic options, some of the real big guys and some of the artisan brands. And you can now get everything from kombuchas, artisan tonics, through to alcohol-free beers and wines and fizz, botanical spirits, and just about everything in between. So let's talk about why you might want to do this. Well, if you're having that voice in the head, then definitely it's time. But, you know, people report all kinds of benefits when they decide to reduce their alcohol or take it out of their lives completely. Some people find they have much better sleep, often not initially. I must stress that, because people sometimes think, well, if I ditch the booze within 2 weeks, well, I did. I thought within 2 weeks, I'll have dropped a couple of stone and I'll be sleeping well and I'll look fantastic. Sadly, it doesn't quite work like that. But in time, you will have better sleep. Your weight will regulate. Again, not at the start. It often doesn't. In fact, if you get your sugar head on, you might even find you're eating a bit more. So you have to be a bit careful. But it will, over time, regulate. You'll have better digestion. We have to remember that alcohol greatly impacts on gut health. It's inflammatory. And so many people have a lot of digestive issues. So your digestion will be better, we hope. You may have better sex. You may have, surprisingly, better eyesight. I know, right? Definitely cognitive function. You will definitely feel more energized and have more clarity. For anyone running a business, for anyone who has their own brand, this is like literally gaining a new team all at once, because the sense of clarity you have and the sense of purpose and direction is absolutely unbelievable. Many people also report that they find that their anxiety dissipates, as I've already said, or even goes completely. Every issue, every kind of physical complaint that you ever had will either stay the same or it'll get a bit better. It certainly never makes anything worse. And of course, sober hair. Who knew? I mean, I know it's lockdown hair right now, but most of the time when you ditch the booze, even your hair gets shinier. But here's the really cool thing. I already mentioned that if you have a business, or if you have a career that you're really passionate about, being sober does a really odd thing to many people. It completely intensifies your sense of purpose. It makes sure that you're ready to take on challenges. I run the Sober Club. It's a community for people who are either sober curious or they've been sober for years, because we're focusing on the holistic picture. So many people in the Sober Club have had complete life changes for the better, I might add. And they've found that suddenly they have found the inner strength and the purpose and the clarity and the energy and the talent and the ability to start a whole new business, or to write the book they always wanted to write, or to start a charity, or to plan something that they've been wanting to do for years. You know, we all know the classic Wayne Dyer phrase, don't die with the music still in you. And, you know, ditching the booze is one of the most surefire ways to encourage you to live your life to the full. Because drinking, something about alcohol steals your joy, and being sober can make you brave. So if you do decide to take a break from drinking, you will be in very good company. I quite like throwing at you a bunch of celebs, sober heroes, so that you know that you're in good company. So, of course, we know that there are lots of sober heroes, including Russell Brand, Zoe Ball, Bradley Cooper, Kate Moss, Rob Lowe, Brad Pitt, Kim Kardashian, Zac Efron, Elton John, of course, and just so many more. And, you know, the other really important phrase that you will have heard before from Johann Hari in his TEDx talk was, the opposite of addiction is connection. And this piece, I really do believe, is so important. There are loads of different ways that you can make your choice and your decision to reduce your drinking or to quit drinking. Lots of options. And it really doesn't matter how you come to it. You choose what feels best for you. But what's really important is that you get connected. This is the answer to to giving up, as it were, for things tripping up. By the way, I never use the phrase giving up when I'm talking about the booze, because you're not giving anything up, you're only gaining. That's why I call it ditching the booze. But what I mean is giving up on your own challenge. And that can happen when you're not connected. There are a few things that I think are really key to helping your success with this. I'll run through the sober toolkit for you in a moment. But that connection piece is important. So you really need to get inspired and you need to stay connected. So I would challenge you to look again at your relationship with alcohol and open your mind to being sober curious. You do need to get those sober tools, and it's really great if you can set yourself a challenge of ditching the booze for, well, minimum 30 days, even better if you can do 100 days or 200 days, because then you really know that you're starting to feel very different. And there is one word of warning, of course, and that is that at some point down the line, the wine witch may come calling again. And this is where you're going to really need to recognize that voice in your head, that addictive voice, you can answer back to that. We can actually check in with that inner critic and that inner voice and ask whether it's really true. Most of the time it isn't. Most of the time it's just the old associations that come back. When we're ditching the booze, what we really need to do is put the new healthy habits in place so that we're focusing on what we're gaining and we're literally forging some new neural pathways. So if I've inspired any of you to even think about it, then I'm going to give you a few suggestions as to a few little ways to get started that might just help you. First of all, as I say, make your commitment and write that down, and preferably tell someone. It's also a really good idea to ask yourself why you want to do this. So ask yourself why it feels important for you. Most people will write, well, because I can't carry on like this, or I'll get sick, or because I don't like the way it makes me feel, or whatever, or because I did have a rock bottom moment. So you write down your why, the pain point, if you like. But then I would also suggest that you spin it onto the positive and ask yourself, so why might this be good for me? Why might this make my life better physically and emotionally? And actually see if you can catch sight of that better life without the booze. It can be really hard at the beginning. I couldn't even imagine it. I could only imagine that life without the booze would be really boring and that I would never have fun again and never be able to rock up at a party or even be the person that I thought I was. You just got to trust me on that one. You just got to trust me and just take some inspiration that life is better. So try and catch sight of that. So that's the why. But then it's also important to write down the why not. So be really honest and open about what's stopping you. Why don't you want to give up the booze? And this is where all the excuses can come rolling out. So I sometimes recommend that you do a WOOP, W-O-O-P. The W stands for wish. So what is your wish around this? What would you like to happen? And you might say, well, I would like to try stopping alcohol. I'd like to try being alcohol free. The O is for outcome. What will that look like? If you're able to do that, what will it actually look like for you? Can you visualize yourself in a different scenario? Can you imagine yourself with more energy, feeling better, feeling less anxious, doing new things, finding your purpose? Can you catch sight of that? The next O stands for obstacle. And of course, that's where you've got to be really honest and open about what's going to hold you back. Is it that you have a partner or family members who drink all the time? Is it that you have friends who see you in a certain way and you're just sober buddies? Is it that you're worried about what other people will say? Maybe it's that you just can't face having to look at what's going on. And that can be a big one for some people. Of course, we use alcohol to numb out. So when you know you're actually going to have to face stuff, it feels really tough. So ask yourself, what will be the obstacles? And then the P stands for plan. And this is where the real work comes in. This is where you have to be a little bit of a detective and ask yourself, okay, well, that's the obstacle. That's what's going to go wrong. But this is the wish. So how can I get to it? What can I put in place? What resources or support might I need that will help me through this? And this is where the Sober Toolkit comes in, because I would recommend that everyone invests in a really nice notebook, a brand new notebook, because writing is going to become a thing for you, even if it isn't already. And I recommend writing by hand. It's really good for the cognitive brain. So, old-fashioned pen and paper and all of that. And write down your commitment. But also, you might want to write down something that has happened in the past that you'd really rather not go there again. And then on a daily basis, you can write 5 things you're grateful for. Just 5 is fine. But in detail, not necessarily just I'm grateful for my home, but something in detail. Perhaps someone smiled at you. Perhaps you had something nice to eat. It can be a really small thing, but it just helps us focus on the gratitude. I'd also recommend that you tell someone that you've made this decision and you get connected. Of course, you're very welcome to check out the Sober Club, soberclub.com. And I'd suggest you track your progress, because it feels really good to be able to pat ourselves on the back. We may not have friends telling us, yay, well done. We might have to do this for ourselves. So get yourself one of those apps. There are lots of them. There's one called I Am Sober. There are several others, and they count up the days that you've been sober. So you obviously input your date, and they also count the money you're saving. And that's a cool tip. I highly recommend people get a glass jar or a glass vase, and you physically go and get cash out. I know we don't do that very often, but just for 30 days, get the cash that you would have spent on booze and put it in your glass jar. Man, that's an incentive. I would also suggest that you get yourself some inspiration and some logic and some knowledge. Now, there is this phrase, get it right, emotions, not logic, inspire action. What I mean by that is we do need the logic. You do need to read a couple of books that will help you to realize that what I'm telling you is true, that alcohol is not good for you. It has no place in your life. Read a couple of the books that really, the Quit Lit books that really nail that. There's a great one by Jason Vale, Kick the Drink Easily, and Alcohol Explained by William Porter. There's a couple to start with. But then in addition to that knowledge piece, you need the inspiration. You need to listen to podcasts. My podcast is called Alcohol Free Life. I have some amazing guests, but there are many Quit Lit podcasts, and read some inspirational books. Mine is literally just arrived. How cool is that? Happy, Healthy, Sober. It's lovely when you hold your own book in your hand for the first time. Literally arrived yesterday. So mine is one that will inspire you, and there are many others. Get inspired. It's super important. And when the wine witch calls and you get those cravings, prep in advance for exactly what you're going to do. And that means, what are you going to drink? Okay? Because, we don't just stop drinking just because we're not drinking alcohol, but it's not about what's in the glass. My mantra, my phrase is keep the ritual, change the ingredients. And what I mean by that is absolutely still have a drink with your partner at 6 p.m. if that's what you always do. Absolutely still meet your friends in a cafe or a deli or whatever it is. But have an alcohol-free drink. And there are masses to choose from. As I've already said, the market's changed. Find something that you like. And if the venue that you're going to, once things open up, don't stock a great range of alcohol-free drinks, well, nag them hard and say to them, hey, what would you do if I was bringing Zoe Ball with me and Russell Brand and Elton John? Would you offer them a warm orange juice? I don't think so. So encourage them to stock some really great alcohol-free drinks. And if they don't, take your own, pay the corkage. So keep the ritual, change the ingredients. It's such an important part of your sober toolkit, because if you don't do that, when it gets to the evening time or the wine which is calling, there'll be a little voice somewhere that says to you, well, this is kind of rubbish. I've had a really busy day. Everyone else in my family or all my friends, they're all having that, glamorous drink in that lovely glass. They're all having a little bit of a celebration. And I've just got a cup of tea. And there's something not right about that. This doesn't make me feel good. This makes me feel deprived. There's absolutely no reason to feel deprived at all. Get a fabulous glass, get some lovely sparkling water, put a berry in there or a slice of lemon, pimp your drink, have one of the amazing alcohol-free wines or beers or fizzes or botanical spirits, make a alcohol-free cocktail. There are some fantastic recipes for alcohol-free cocktails. So this is actually perfectly doable. And then I'd really recommend that you do that connection piece that I've already spoken about. Do get yourself connected. This is absolutely critical for your for you to achieve what you've set out to achieve, for you to get your wish. There's something about connecting with like-minded people. I would recommend that you don't necessarily share every little nuance with family and friends, because they probably don't understand at this point. You're the one who doesn't have the off switch. So do this for you, because it's honestly the best thing you will ever do for yourself. So that sober toolkit, once again, then, is you need something in terms of physical stuff. Get a nice glass jar to put the money in, get a great notebook and a pen. Get some great alcohol-free drinks. Try them out. There are so many. I've got masses of recommendations at thesoberclub.com. Make sure that you have healthy snacks. You probably will get your sugar head on at the beginning. So have some really great snacks. You can put a date in the freezer. Tastes a bit like chocolate. Or have some really good dark chocolate. Or some nuts. Whatever works for you. Ultimately, at the beginning, the most important thing is ditching the booze. So don't even worry too much if it just has to be some ice cream. So what? This too will pass. The most important thing is stopping the booze. And then, in addition, as I say, you need the books. You need some Quit Lit. So do get yourself something that really, really explains the issues with alcohol. Do listen to podcasts and absolutely get yourself connected. And yeah, spend the money that you save. Spend the money on, because of course, we don't really save the money. We redistribute it, don't we? But redistribute it on something that will really support your self-care and your well-being. I haven't even touched on it, but I'm sure it's a thread that runs through everything I talk about. And that is that effectively, the real lesson, in inverted commas, the real crux of all of this isn't just not drinking. It's about bringing in what you're gaining. It's about self-care and self-respect. And the thing that underpins it all is self-love. And most people find that when they start to ditch the booze, when they start to get sober, they start to find out who they really are. And that sense of self-love can start to appear. For years and years, I'm a Hay House author, and I used to present on Hay House Radio. So I've interviewed all the gurus. There isn't much that I don't know about self-love and meditation and all of that stuff. But was it happening for me personally? Of course it wasn't. I thought that was for everyone else, not for me. Of course, if you'd asked me back then, or do you practice meditation? Can you sit with your own feelings? Do you actually have self-respect and self-esteem? No, absolutely not. Because I was drinking. Because I was drinking a ton of alcohol. Because I wasn't authentic with who I was meant to be. So the really amazing thing is that when you do stop drinking, you do get to find out who you really are. It's another interesting piece of the puzzle, because of course many people start drinking when they're very young. And so all of those years, alcohol's been your most important relationship. So often we're not very emotionally mature, because we've spent so many years drowning out all the big stuff, all the important stuff. We have just numbed it with alcohol. So I'm just going to leave you with that question again. I would say that the real question to ask yourself isn't, should I drink less, or am I drinking too much, or should I be worried? Or should I have a drink that's a lower ABV? Or should I have water? Or should I have an alcohol-free day? They're not the real questions. The real question is for you to ask yourself is, could my life be better physically and emotionally without the booze? And if the answer is a big fat yes, then here's my challenge to you. Absolutely do something about it, because you're worth it. And, I wish someone had told me many years ago just how freaking fantastic life is without the booze. Please check out thesoberclub.com. We would love to see you, and have a look at my new book. It's called Happy, Healthy, Sober, Ditch the Booze and Take Control of Your Life. We've got a foreword in there by Denise Welch. The good thing about the book, by the way, is that it's not just me. You've got my story, and I'm sharing a whole bunch of my tips as to how I think you can make those early stages so much easier for yourself. But the book also contains a huge number of contributions from other experts, leading experts in their field. So we have someone on NLP and EFT. We have a creativity expert in there. Obviously, there's nutrition. There's a naturopath. We look at fitness. We look at relationships. We look at the menopause. Pretty much everything you can think of in terms of a holistic lifestyle is covered. So it very much isn't only about ditching the booze. There's a whole host of other topics in there as well. So thank you so much. I hope I've managed to inspire you. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Hey, Janie, how are you?
Hey. Yeah, good.
Good. Well, thank you. You started with all the questions, and obviously, kind of my book, which is all about, it's called The Question, Find Your True Purpose, and you were talking about purpose as well. So I'm very in sync on obviously the power of the questions, and you were asking very powerful questions yourself, obviously, for the listener, which are questions that they should ask themselves. Will my life be better? Would I be healthier? Could I live longer? And I think a lot of what you were saying was obviously makes a lot of sense. I think because a lot of us have started drinking at a very early age, and it's part of our life. Sometimes I think it's just, it's definitely a habit.
Yes,
it's definitely a habit. And as habits, you need to change the pattern of the habit, but also it is also pressure, isn't it, of what friends will say.
Social pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's so ingrained in our culture, as I said, and it is the norm. It's kind of the rite of passage that we expect. You get to a certain age, and then you start drinking. It's just what everyone does. And for a lot of people, for many years, they're fine until it's not fine. Alcohol is often fine for many years till it isn't. But I think I think my real passion is to just try and inspire people that there is another way, and it's a fantastic way. And I genuinely did not know that. I didn't know that. I really thought that there was something wrong with me, that I was caught in this alcohol trap. I knew I didn't fit the rock bottom picture. Of course, I wouldn't. That wasn't relevant to me at all. Rocking up to AA would never have been a thing for me, or seeing a doctor for an actual medical prescription. That certainly wasn't where I was at. But I also definitely wasn't okay. But as I said in the talk there, nobody ever suggested that there was a better life without any booze. Nobody had ever told me that. The perception was that if someone didn't drink, it was because, oh, poor them, you can't have a drink. Oh, it's such a shame. Shame for you. What a shame on a sunny day. You can't have a drink. Oh, dear. But actually, the opposite is true. Literally, the opposite is true.
Yeah, and there's something about the idea of if it isn't a problem for you, then why not try it? If drinking isn't a problem, and you could just say, because the fact is, it's like, well, look, there's absolutely no doubt you're going to feel better. Your brain,
100%.
your mind, everything.
Everything is better. Everything is better. Yeah. So what I'd say there, it's quite interesting because sometimes people say to me, well, I don't want to stop drinking. I want to be a moderate drinker. Or we now know the term is mindful drinker. It's quite a common phrase. And some people are mindful drinkers. But when people recognize, if I ask the question, do you think your life could be better without the booze? If they go, God, yeah, I kind of know that because I am waking up feeling a bit rubbish. And then the next thing they say is, but I don't want to give up. I don't want to stop. I mustn't say give up because you're not giving anything up. You're only gaining. I don't want to stop. I just want to reduce my drinking. I just want to moderate. And then my answer would be, well, great. But before you choose your rules around your moderation, before you put into place your new, pattern as a mindful drinker, do 30 days without any. Do 30 days without any. Because if you can't do 30 days without any, there is actually a problem, right? Because of course you can do 30 days without any. And that's often when it freaks people out, because they say, well, hold on a minute, I always have a drink with Sunday lunch, and then on a Monday, I have a drink because a friend comes around, and then on a Tuesday I have a really important work thing, but then on a Wednesday, and it goes on and on. So actually most people find they can't just stop. So it does take proper planning. I sometimes joke about, you see this whole thing about mindful drinkers and moderation. I genuinely believe that some people have an off switch. They do. They genuinely do. My husband was like that. He could have a drink or 2 drinks. He could even have a bit too much to drink, and then he wouldn't have a drink for 3 months. He wouldn't even think about it. It's not a thing for him. If there was a drink there, there'd be a drink. It's not a thing. He has an off switch. It's not a thing. I call myself, I'm a mindful banana eater. I can have a banana. Some days I might have 2, right? And then I might go 2 months and not have a banana. If a doctor said to me, you can't eat bananas, it wouldn't upset me, right? So I'm a mindful banana eater.
I love the...
But I wouldn't join a club about being a mindful banana eater or actually start reading books, because I know it's a thing, right?
But I love how they've adopted the mindful. I just think they've nicked that because it's mindfulness and it's cool. But I think even the 30 days. Well, listen, start with 7 and start with 7 and see how that goes.
Absolutely. But there's a really important piece of this, which is don't do your 7 days or your 30 days with a mindset of willpower and struggle and determination, because it won't work. You will literally be feeling deprived and counting the days till you can drink again. So instead of that, focus on, wow, I'm going to put really good food into my body. I'm going to really support my brain chemistry, because that's a really important part of the equation. In the first 4 weeks, your brain chemistry is completely out of whack. You don't know what's going on. So you've got to eat really, really highly nutritious food. Don't try and lose weight at the same time. Highly nutritious food to support the brain chemistry, masses of fresh air and exercise and good stuff, and go to bed early and read books and actually take care of yourself in that kind of recovery period, and really put the effort into what you're adding in, not what you're taking away. Because if you simply take something away, that little inner voice says, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling. I'm deprived. And what we want to do is add in loads of good stuff, have amazing fresh juices and smoothies, and go for walks and do other stuff that you're adding in to feel better.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. Well, look, I think what you're bringing is amazing, and it is obviously thought-provoking, and it is around the idea of becoming the better version, a better version of yourself. And we are, we do comply to whatever we've been doing for a number of years, and we feel it's part of our life, and it isn't necessarily so. Doing new things and practicing new things is definitely things that can help you think better and live a better life. Well, I think that would be right at the top of the to-do list, wouldn't it?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone says, one of my clients said to me, I feel like I've been given a second chance at life. That's it in a sentence, actually.
Brilliant. Well, so I know you've shared your information. I just wanted to make sure that they've got your details as well. So what's the best place to find you or get in touch with you?
Yeah, anyone can just look at thesoberclub.com, or I'm available everywhere. I'm on social media at Janie Lee Grace. You can find me anywhere there, really.
Brilliant. And Jenny Lee, you're doing a panel for us tomorrow, yeah? Tell us what's that.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. That's a panel discussion at midday tomorrow called Does Being Sober Give You Superpowers? And I'm sure you can guess the answer. And I've got some great panelists, William Porter, who's author of Alcohol Explained, and Amanda Thompson, who has a brand called Naughty, which is an organic vegan alcohol-free sparkling fizz, and Enid Taylor, who is a naturopath and a digestive health specialist, and Joseph James, who is a money mindset and strategy coach.
Brilliant. What a great panel. Well, I'm looking forward to you guys tomorrow. Jenny, thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Sharing your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Great day. Thank you. Great. Well, listen, an important conversation that Janie brought to us, and a very interesting subject. Come on. Honesty starts with yourself. And I think this is one of the key things that I tend to say. Honesty starts with yourself. Don't bullshit yourself. Don't lie to yourself, and be honest and ask yourself those questions. Can I? Will I? Why won't I? and and start addressing what's coming up. And what's coming up in a minute is my next guest, Paul O'Mahony. Now, we're just a little bit ahead of schedule. We're gonna be playing a 5-minute commercial in a minute, and then we're going to be back ahead of time. But basically, look, we've got an amazing lineup of people organized for you today. So we've got Paul O'Mahony, and then we've got Darren Winters joining us later on today, and Mas Sadeghi. So that we've got a great panel of people bringing you the power of social media and how to create revenue and money. And we're going to be talking about also investing, trading. And then Mas is going to be talking to you about, your exponential intelligence, how you can really thrive in a time like this where it all seems to be chaos. So we'll be back. We'll be playing a 5-minute commercial. We'll be right back in a minute. Thank you so much. What's the best way of somebody managing time?
Well, I don't know if we ever manage time. I think we manage our actions in time, because we all have the same amount of time. We call it time management, but it's really our activity management. If a person was to sit down and write down everything that they do in a day and make a comprehensive list of everything that they do in a day, within possibly a month, each days of the month, what do they do? And then next to it, put down another column next to it. What is the productivity per hour? How much does it produce per hour economically? And next to that, another column that's how much meaning of inspiration does it provide? And next to that, what is the cost replacement? If I was to delegate it to somebody, what would I have to pay to have them do that? And next to that, another column is how much time is spent. If we put those 4 columns together against all the things that we do in a day, we'll find out that in most cases, most people that are less productive are doing low priority things. They're majoring in minors and minoring in majors. They're doing less priority things and not the most productive or most meaningful things. But by going through and doing an inventory of that and identifying what really produces economically and what is really meaningful, usually the thing that produces is something that serves others. What's meaningful, it serves ourselves. Finding a balance of those meaningfulness as in the things that are most productive allows us to earn more income to delegate to lower priority activities. Once we delegate to lower priority activities, we get way more done. We feel way more fulfilled. We have a greater self-worth and net worth, and we're able to free ourselves up for creative thinking with the executive center in our brain instead of having to live in frustrations with our amygdala. So we actually activate our angelic mind, as I call it, instead of our animal mind. This is the most productive and most powerful day we can make. So prioritizing our day every day and living by high priorities is key. Parkinson's law states that if we don't fill our day with high priority actions that inspire us, it's going to keep filling up with low priority distractions that don't.
Tell me about where does inspiration come from?
Well, whenever you're setting goals that are aligned to your highest values, the things that are most priority, most important to you, you're spontaneously inspired from within, like a calling from within to act. Nobody has to ever remind me or motivate me or incentivize me to get up and research and write every day and to teach every day. I love doing that. I can't wait to do it. And whenever you're doing things that are high in your values, you can't wait to do it. And when you can't wait to do something that inspires you, people can't wait to get your inspiration. But whenever you're doing something lower on your values, because you'll procrastinate, hesitate, and frustrate in doing it in comparison to higher values, you'll need motivation and drive and incentives to get you to do it. And you're more avoiding pain and seeking pleasure in that mode. So I always say I'd rather fill my day with inspirations than have to live my life through having to be motivated from the outside. Motivation is a symptom, never a solution. Inspiration is the fulfillment of life.
But is it not difficult for people that maybe have just kind of like a mundane job? Is it not difficult sometimes maybe for them to find inspiration if they're just trying to bring a living in?
Actually, if they have never taken the time to identify the job description that they have and identify what's really truly high on their value, and then identify how specifically those activities are going to help them fulfill their highest value, they're going to have a mundane job. But it's never what happens to them. It's never what they're going through. It's their perception of it. William James, the father of modern psychology, said that the greatest discovery of his generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their perceptions and attitudes of mind. So if we take the time and ask the simple question, how specifically is the job duty I'm doing right now going to help me fulfill what is most meaningful, most inspiring, my highest priority, my highest value in my life, my purpose in life? If I ask that question and don't give myself excuses for not answering it, and just keep asking and answering that question over and over again, eventually my mind will see the blessing in it and see things on the way, not in the way. And the same job that seemed to be mundane is now inspiring. And the more you become engaged and the more you be fulfilled in the job. And when you're doing something that's meaningful, You look forward to the job, and you're not trying to escape it with tea and coffee and internet distractions or spectators, things, or etc. And you're engaged. You're more productive. You get more promotions, more opportunities, and you're more likely to get more income and eventually more entrepreneurial opportunities.
Are you sick and tired of struggling to get your career to where you want it to be? Working with the right coach can be a life-changing experience, and Bernardo Moya is changing lives all over the world. Learn how to create revenue streams, attract higher qualified clients consistently, market your brand, and promote your business to a global audience. Bernardo is one of the biggest names in the world of personal development. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and a founder and chief inspirational officer of the Best You Corporation. So fast track your career now.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. So day 2, Best You Virtual Expo. And look, one of the things I've been talking about and sharing is the idea of, look, making sure that you learn as many aspects and you learn as many different things as you can. When I did my first Best You Expo, they really want to say, well, who's it marketed towards? And what is your target market? And who are you trying to bring there? It has to be niche. I completely disagree. I think when it comes down to personal professional growth, what we have to be doing is learning as many different skills as possible, learning new things that we're maybe uncomfortable with, or things that we've never thought of learning. That's what personal professional growth is all about, in my opinion. That's why we've always tried to bring you all sorts of speakers, empowering women, people specializing in social media, confidence, motivation, how to make money, how to build a business, how to create revenues with social media or trading or crypto, whatever it may be. That's what personal development is for me. And I think that's one of the most important aspects of the whole concept and the whole idea of the Best You. Now, we're bringing you some great information and a lot of content that we've been filming over the years on the Best You TV. And the Best You TV is live. We're streaming now live. This content is available on the Best You TV. So if you're missing it, or at a later date you want to watch any of the recordings, well, you can watch them. Our recent Best You Virtual Expos or even interviews that we did a few years ago, they're all on the Best You TV. We've got loads more channels coming. So keep an eye on it, because we really want to establish ourselves as the leaders in the personal development world. So I'm going to show a very quick commercial about the Best You TV. And then we're going to be back and I'm going to bring my next guest, which is Paula Mahoney. Thank you so much.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live.
So yes, the Best You TV is live. It's available on Roku, Amazon, and Apple TV. Those are on devices, but available now also on Google Play, and it's going to be available on iOS probably over the weekend. So who knows? Maybe over the weekend or next week, you can start watching it on your phone as well. How amazing is that? So we're planning on streaming more and more content, more and more shows, more events, and bigger events from all over the world through the Best You TV. So we're very, very excited about the next chapter. And I wanted to do there's a brief intro here to introduce Paula Mahoney, who was introduced to us, or to me, by a mutual friend, Judy May Murphy, who I want to thank. Judy May Murphy is going to be speaking tomorrow. So I hope you join her. She's just such a beautiful soul, such an amazing coach. And well, you're going to love her speaking. She's speaking tomorrow. And but Paula Mahoney, well, he is an entrepreneur, a 4 times best-selling author, and Guinness World Record holding public speaker specializing in digital marketing mindset and wealth management. He is a columnist for the Sunday Independent and Examiner newspaper and has multiple companies where he supports thousands of clients worldwide. Over the last 10 years, Paul has generated over 10 million in sales from his Rethink product range and spoken to hundreds of thousands of people from stages all over the world, as well as online webinars and events. Paul talks about cutting-edge training techniques on a variety of internet business topics developed from his hugely successful social media and digital marketing workshops. Topics range from how to start a business, how to start a business online to marketing money from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So we have a talk here from Paul. He's going to be joining us as well for some Q&As at the end. So we're going to play his talk and we'll be back later. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernardo. Thank you, Bernardo. Very excited to do this. So let me just get my screen set up here. Let me stand up and get everything ready to go. Move away from the mic. Okay, here goes. Oh, by the way, please remove any distractions you might have. Okay, here goes. Hey there, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is Paul O'Mahony here, and I'm very, very excited to share this presentation with you right now. What I want to know right now, straight away, is to ask you a question. How many of you currently is it difficult for you to make money on the internet? Please let me know in the chat. Just type in yes if for you right now it's difficult for you to make money on the internet. Okay, and I'm going to expect a lot of yeses here, right? And next question I have for you is, how many of you have bought something this week already on the internet? In fact, type in how many days it is since you last purchased something online. If 0 if you bought something today, maybe 5, day 5 if it was 5 days ago, and just type in how many days it is since you've last purchased something online. Well, it looks like lots of you think it's difficult for you at this moment in time to make money online. But secondly, it looks like you're very proficient, in fact, at buying things online. So the good news is you are already proficient at making money online. The bad news is it's for other people. Right now, you are making a lot of money for a lot of other people. It's time you turn that whole thing around. You already know how to make money online. It's time to learn how to make it to yourself. Welcome, everybody. My name is Paul O'Mahony, and I am here to show you how to stop wasting time and start earning money by rethinking social media. Now, we are meeting at the most incredible time. This device has changed the world as we know it. There are more phones on the planet than people right now, which is absolutely incredible. This is the addiction of society. What do I mean by that? Well, it's the device that wakes people up in the morning. It's the device that we carry around with us all day long in our handbags, and that's just the men. And at nighttime, what is it that we do? We kneel down beside our beds to what? Well, not to give thanks anymore, to look for one of these and to plug it into our phone to make sure that our phone is charging overnight. We couldn't care less if our partner is charged in the morning, but it's an absolute nightmare if we wake up and there's only 12% battery on our phone. That's the crazy world that we live in today. And this device presents the biggest opportunity that's ever been for some very, very simple reasons. Number one, right now, this is acting for most people as their number one liability. It's costing them money and it's using up their time. I would like to share with you today how this can become your number one asset in life, putting money in your pocket, putting precious time back in your life, regardless of your experience and regardless of the thoughts that you already might have around the internet or around social media, and regardless of whether you have a business or business experience or not. I know that's a lot to take in, but that's what I want to share with you right now. I want to share with you in a world today where people are panicking about it being so difficult to compete right now, to get any kind of money in. Let me just share with you some screenshots from one of my websites. Today, 11,000, last 7 days, 204,000, last 4 weeks, 552,000, last 12 months, 1.59 million. Another website, 70,000 in the last 4 weeks, last 12 months, 2.14 million. And I've taken this screenshot from mid-COVID just to give you an example from one website that we have as to what is possible. July, 232,000. This is dollars, as you can see. Now, I know most of you here are dealing in pounds, right? Or possibly some even in euros, but we all know what the conversion is roughly to the dollar. June, $241,000, May, $578,000, April, $493,000, February, $329,000. I'm hoping that this grabs your attention. Type in 1 right now if I've got your attention and you are ready to learn how you can get started on this path yourself for today. Type in 1 right now if that is the case. So if you are a business owner, right, this is for you. If you have your own products, your own services already, you know you need to be using social media better. That's a given, right? So this is for you. Secondly, maybe you have a message to share. You want to be an influencer. You love being on camera. You do have things to say and share with the world. There are some crazy people that are in that situation, maybe 20% of you. Well, this is absolutely for you, because you know that you need to use social media better to get your message out there and to leverage what's possible today. But number 3, and this is where most people fall into this bracket, you might not have a business, you might not have any products, you might not have any services, you might not have any business experience. You don't like social media at all. You think people are crazy that use it. But if you could somehow make money from it and nobody know that it's you, you would be very, very interested, right? I'm guessing most of you fall into that bracket, because that is exactly where I started. And even though I've written the best-selling book, Rethink Social Media, here behind me, I openly admit I don't even like it, right? I'm not here today, though, to talk about how regular people use it. I'm here today to show you how to rethink social media, and how to stop wasting precious time on it, and how to start earning money in time that you are already spending on the internet. And it's a very straightforward 4-step process. You don't need any experience. So all I'm going to say to you is, if you haven't already, please remove all distractions whatsoever. Please grab a pen and a paper, because I want you to take these 4 steps down. I want you, at the end of this training, to be able to practically get started straight away and get going, okay? This is going to be totally worth it. So whatever those distractions are, you're going to forget what they are in a few hours from now, but this you won't. This has truly got the potential to be life-changing for you. So let's go through this 4-step process right away. Now, hopefully you've got a chance to lock that door, get those earbuds in, and listen very, very carefully, because you don't want to miss a moment of this, because we're jumping right in. The first step in this process is picking your niche, or a business area where people are spending money every day. Keep it simple for yourself. Go where the money is, go where the products exist, go where people are already keen on spending their money. Secondly, then we go to social media. When we're clear on the problem that we're solving, regardless of whether you've experienced or not, then we can go into social media and find the perfect people for our business. Thirdly, we want to invite people away from the noise of social media and into the relative privacy of our email database, our email list. And the 4th step is then, how do you make money from that on an ongoing basis? It is a very simple step-by-step process, easy to do, just as easy not to do. So today we're going to learn exactly how to do this. And let's start by picking your niche, or niche, as our American cousins would call it. I love this statement from Zig Ziglar, one of the world leading experts over the past number of decades on the topic of business. And he summarizes it very simply. He says, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. So simple, but yet very profound. Nowhere does it say, figure out what you want in life. Figure out what you think other people need. It doesn't say those things at all. It focuses on find out what they want and give it to them. Really, business can be that simple. What do people want? They want to be healthier. They want to be wealthier. They want to be happier. These are the 3 addictions of society. The more happy you are, the more money you want to spend on it. The wealthier you are, the more money you invest on it. The healthier you are, the more you invest in your health. There's a continuous spending habit that comes with any of these areas. You can't fix them all in one trip to any shop, right? So pick an area like this where people will always come back looking for more and more and more. That is a key to successful business. Not picking one good product, because the moment you've sold that product, you have to find another customer. Instead, we want to think about solutions much broader in our thinking, because products will never, ever stop coming. There'll always be new products out in the market. And rather than seeing that as a threat, we can see that as an incredible opportunity, because we don't need to create them. We don't need to provide them. They already exist in many cases. So let's just figure out, how do we get them in front of the people who want them? Keeping it simple, right? Super simple. So what do you do right now? Pick one of these, right? At home right now, circle it in front of you. Which of those 3 are you going to start with? This isn't a lifetime commitment. This is just until you match at least your current salary, right? And literally just a few months from now, you will be in the top 0.1% most knowledgeable people on the planet on this topic. That's how quickly you can learn this stuff. So pick a niche. It doesn't matter which of these 3 it is for now. Just pick one for the time being. Second step then is going to social media, looking for the people who have this specific problem. So why do we go to social media? Because it's full of people. And that's what we need in order to create a successful business. Now, this is a very simple diagram for you here with 3 people, one with a green jigsaw puzzle, one with a red, and one with a blue jigsaw puzzle. But even though it looks very simple, this is the foundation of the business model I want to share with you here. Not only will it work today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, it's going to work in a decade or 2 decades or 3 decades from now. How can I say that with such assurance when in today's world, all we hear about are the fact that everything we know is going to change. Everything is so problematic. There's problems everywhere we look. Well, you decide. Can we all agree that people will never stop having problems? I think we can all agree on that, right? That's one thing we're absolutely certain of. People will not ever stop having problems. So our person on the left there with the green jigsaw puzzle, that's a regular person with regular problems. The person on the right is your traditional entrepreneur. As Laurie Greiner, the lady in the movie Joy, says, entrepreneurs, the only people I know who work 80 hours a week to avoid a 40-hour-a-week job. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, you'll know that hurts, but it's quite true, right? Well, the sad fact of the matter is for entrepreneurs who set up a traditional business, they have a 96% chance of failure. 96% chance of failure. Now, these are clever people. Many of them have been to college, they've got their business degrees, they've got MBAs, and they still only have a 4% chance of success. Why? Well, they're focused on the wrong things, like the products, like on the operational side of it, rather than specifically on the marketing and finding the perfect people for their business. So what does that mean? Well, it means there's a huge opportunity out there, because 4 out of every 100 businesses set up are only going to survive. I'm not here today to teach you how to have a 4% chance of success in business. That's what college is for, right? I'm here to show you how to have a 100% chance of success every single time. Why? Because you don't take any risk. You position yourself in the middle and you give only the very best products that exist to the people looking for them. If they're your products, great. If they're not, great. Either way, don't limit your revenue potential by deciding I'm only going to sell this one thing, because that's how businesses fail. They connect a business and a product as being the same thing, but they're not, right? A business is about solving problems at a profit. That's a critical difference. It doesn't matter what the products are. So let's think bigger picture. What are the solutions? And what that means is you can relax today. You can sleep better tonight, in fact, because most entrepreneurs are so worried about what happens when a better product comes to market. What if somebody undercuts me? What if a new technology comes out that disrupts this entire industry? Well, all of those things are going to happen. That's why entrepreneurs do have sleepless nights. So rather than seeing that as a threat and as a competition, we should open our eyes and see this is coming. So let's work in certainties here. Let's collaborate. Let's not see it as competition, but rather an opportunity for us to make a fortune. Let's work with them rather than against them. Let's step out of our own way and allow the cash to flow through us. Now, you might think, Paul, this sounds pretty interesting, but if it was this good, wouldn't everybody else be doing it? Well, let's not worry about everybody else. Let's instead focus on some of the most successful businesses in the world, because most people are not millionaires. In fact, 99.6% of people on the planet are not millionaires. So let's look at some of the most successful businesses in the world and see what they're doing. Uber, the world's largest taxi company, doesn't own any vehicles. Facebook, the world's largest content sharer, doesn't create any. Alibaba, the world's largest store, doesn't have any inventory. Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider, doesn't own any real estate. Booking.com, Trivago.com, Expedia.com, Hotels.com, ironically, don't own any hotels. Amazon don't write books. eBay don't create any products. Banks don't print money. They sell other people's money. They take it off the person in the front of the line and sell it to the person next in the line and charge interest to keep the person interested in coming back. Now type in wow if you've had a bit of an aha moment right now. Because when companies like Hertz US are going bankrupt, Victoria's Secret are going bankrupt, and suddenly these types of businesses who don't take traditional risks, this is why these guys are taking off into the stratosphere and why traditional businesses continue to fail. And this is amazing new news for you, because not only do you know these companies, you can even promote Amazon's products, eBay's products, Booking.com's, Hotels.com. You can actually make money even from these companies. The reason you're not is very simple, because the people around you are not. So you don't know this knowledge because it's not common knowledge yet. But this is something that can completely revolutionize your financial future by modeling yourself against what works. If right now you're taking your advice from friends who are broke, you're confusing, should I say, friendship with financial advice. They're not the same thing. Model the wealthy to learn about money. Listen to your friends when it's to do with friendship, right? And that's an important difference here, because it's so easy to say, but if it was this good, wouldn't everybody else be doing it? The reality is people are too busy doing their own thing to actually explore the opportunities that are literally in front of them at every single moment. In fact, I'm Irish, as you probably worked out right now, so I'm coming from a country where we are the most skeptical people on the planet. My outlook was simple. It was, well, the internet's a scam, right? Everybody knows it's a scam. And then immediately go on and book a flight or book a holiday or buy something, and not seeing the irony in the fact that I'm so willing to make money for others rather than for myself. Maybe you might be just noticing that for the first time too. You're willing to spend it online all the time and make other people rich. But at the other side of it, you're resisting making it for yourself. Well, not anymore, because that's what I want to share with you here. And, you know, we saw what happened last year in terms of COVID, etc. Just things have gone crazy. Like I picked a couple of statistics. The US specifically, in 1 week in March, 6.6 million people filed for unemployment. The reason why I'm picking this statistic out of all of the ones that are out there is because the worst ever week up until then was in 1982, which was 695,000. The reason I'm sharing that with you, it's 38 years previous, but it's 10 times worse now. That's what we need to be aware of. Basically, it's simple. We cannot rely on handouts anymore. And if you are feeling the pressure, like most people, of the external environment pushing in on you, and as lockdown after lockdown was announced and is announced, etc., and all we feel is helpless, it's time to realize, hang on, I've got to start taking ownership myself, because this is something you can completely do from home. Because you're going to learn how to sell anything to anybody, anywhere, at any time, regardless of what's going on in the external environment. What an incredibly empowering feeling that is going to be for you, right? So I want to share with you a number here to give you some perspective on how big of a challenge this is for most people right now. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 32.8 years. 1 trillion seconds is 32,800 years. So 1 trillion is a big number, right? We use it a lot, so we kind of lose perspective on it. $1.6 trillion looks like this. Why share such an interesting or an unusual number? Because this is the US government's #1 asset right now. It is the outstanding student loan debt. That's what this number is. $1.6 trillion, the US government's #1 asset, outstanding student loan debt. If we look at the fees to go through college in today's world, in the US particularly, the UK, it's quite similar, right? $37,000 a year for the out-of-state public colleges. For private, non-profit four-year colleges, $48,000 per year. Why share this? Because most of us naturally resist anything new, but I want to point something out. Why don't we rethink the current path that most of us are on? We believe that the best path for us, as it is for our kids, is to get them to go to college and get them a job. However, the average, as I told you, the average yearly fee for college is $37,000 now. $1.6 trillion outstanding student debt is the #1 asset for the US. The average person spends £500,000 on interest on debt in a lifetime. These are the facts. This is the path that we are on by default. I'm going to ask you to rethink, well, maybe, just maybe, we've been taking the wrong road all along. And maybe it's time to rethink this. Because the only loan you cannot declare bankruptcy on is a college loan. Most doctors don't pay back their college loans till they're in their mid-50s. Mortgage comes from the word mortir, meaning death. Mortgage means debt until death, right? Now, obviously, if you're a mortgage broker, it makes a lot more sense to use the old Latin word mortgage. But this is the reality. We're pushing children and teens down this path of getting as much debt on top of them as quickly as possible, from college loans to house loans, and because that's what we believe success is. But surely success is not ending up in debt. But that's the reality for most people. That's the end of the bad news. That was until now. Today, I'm going to show you how to unlock your potential for financial independence. And it starts with the internet. And the second part of it is you build an email list to the size of the income you want to make. It's a simple 1-to-1 ratio. I would suggest you start by matching your salary. Let's say you're earning £5,000 per month right now. If you would like to match that with your internet business on the side of what you currently do, you build an email list of the same size, 5,000 people. If you'd like to double that, if you'd like to make £10,000 a month, you would build a list of 10,000 people. Now, I know the likelihood is when you do that, you're going to keep going and going, but I just want to explain this in simple terms, because on average, you make about £1 per person on your email list per month. On average. So £1 per person on your email list per month. Okay, that's why. If you want to make an extra £100, 100 people on your list. An extra £5,000, 500 on your list. Now, it's so easy, but what's so empowering about this is you have ownership over this. You know exactly what to do in order to make the money you want to make. That's the challenge that most people have in life around money, is they focus on the money, but they don't know what to do to get it. Here you focus on the database, you focus on the list. That's where the money comes from. And just to give you a simple example, let's say you run a Facebook ad and I guide you through how to do that step by step, and it costs you £1 to get somebody's email address. On average, conservatively, you should be making £1 per person per month. So you spend £1 to make 12 in a year. Now, that's 1,100% return on investment on your pound over a year. Now, imagine going into your bank tomorrow and saying, hey, I'd like 1,100% return on my investment, please. They'll say, sorry, you're in the wrong building. I think you're looking for the asylum. It's 3 doors down on the left, right? They'll tell you that's crazy, that's impossible, right? But we have become so accustomed to listening to the wrong people when it comes to money. And that's just by default. Only 1 in 500 people are millionaires. So it's difficult to find people who are savvy, who are, constantly on top of things when it comes to money. So we make assumptions based on the people that are around us. But if you want to learn how to get wealthy, you got to learn from people who are wealthy already. Much like it's difficult to learn how to become financially free in school from teachers when they haven't figured it out themselves either. It's difficult to learn how to run a business from a lecturer in college who's never set up a business themselves. I mean, would you get into a car with a teenager who just passed their theory test? Right? I don't think you would, either would I, right? Even if it was your own daughter or son, you'd say, well, let's see how you get on practically first, right? But that's how we reward people today, is they get all of the credentials for theoretically learning how to do something and getting a qualification. But practical is what it's truly about. And that's what I want you to understand. You are learning the practicalities of earning money from the internet rather than making it for others. So what we're doing with social media is inviting people from there into our email list. We offer them something for free that they're interested in. And that's where the money is made, in the follow-up afterwards. We're not trying to sell to people, pitch to people, annoy people. If you're not into sales, I'm with you, right? We don't want to do things to people that they don't want to see. We want to entertain them. We want to educate them, right? And best of all, even if we don't have any knowledge ourselves, we can use knowledge that already exists. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about myself, if you don't mind, just to give you some background and some context as to why I'm here chatting to you today. I live a life that I cannot say I've ever dreamed of, because I never thought it was possible. I worked at a corporate job for 9 years. I just mentioned teachers there a moment ago, and I feel that I have the right to do that because both my parents are teachers. So you can just imagine that for a moment. Imagine running home from school each day, and then as you get closer to home, you're like, what's the point in running? There's 2 more teachers waiting for me. They were there for summer holidays. They were there for Christmas. It was always about exams, getting yourself a permanent job. You might remember those. They were all the rage about 10 years ago. It just turned out they weren't that permanent, right? But today I live a very different lifestyle. I worked in a corporate for 9 years in a medical device company in Ireland, in Galway, up until I was 30 years of age. That stopped then, and I pursued the internet, and I'll explain how that happened in a few moments. But today I get to live in Cyprus half the year, Ireland's the other half of the year, and I fly about 100 times on average per year. And I've so easily could have gone down a very different path, the path that was predetermined, of mortgages, massive debt, hundreds of thousands of debt, and just written it off saying, well, that's what everybody else does, and just continued on that path, which most people are on. But today it's a very different journey. And could easily not have happened only for, I always call it an intervention. I went to an event very similar to what you're at, like here now, and listened to speakers who were actually making a lot of money on the internet explain to me that it wasn't what I thought. It was very different, that you didn't need to be technical. You didn't need to have a business. You didn't need to have products. You didn't need to have services. You didn't need to have the entrepreneurial bug or gene, which I didn't have. No one in my family actually had a business. And in fact, you didn't need to be technical, and you didn't even need to like the internet or social media, because other people can do all of these things for you. You've just got to learn that today, in today's society, you can find people that will work for you for £4 to £5 an hour who are more qualified to do this than you are. So I'm not here today to teach you how to get a new job for yourself. I know you're already super busy. I want to show you how you can learn this and then pass it over for somebody else to do, so that you can truly get down to having more spare money and more spare time, because that's what it's about for most people. Now, I consider myself really fortunate because I very nearly, went down a different path. But I went to a conference in Dublin in February 2009. I actually have a picture from that. Oh, sorry, wrong picture. It was a different event. Here it is. I have a picture of myself sitting in the front row here. And I always feel I look a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights. I'm 30 years of age. I borrowed my work laptop, which I must give back actually. And I called in sick for the first time in 9 years in my job. And it's all American speakers talking about how they're making millions on the internet. And the common theme is this, that they were born in a hospital, they were mixed up as babies, they were sent up a local river, rescued by wolves, set up a little heroin factory for themselves out in the woods, and then fortunately got rescued by a Discovery Channel TV crew, checked into a detox clinic, found Jesus, found a Wi-Fi connection, and made millions on the internet. And I'm just sitting there in shock going, what the hell? This can't be true, right? Somebody needs to close this hospital down if any of this is true, right? But I had lots of questions, like, has any normal person made money on the internet? Surely this is a scam. I mean, if it was this easy, wouldn't everybody else be doing it? And the speakers didn't help themselves either. They'd clearly never been to Ireland. They didn't know how skeptical we were. I mean, one person said, stand up and massage the person's shoulders next to you. Like, we're Irish. We don't even massage. We don't even touch our own family, let alone strangers. We were doing social distancing naturally long before it was a legal requirement. We don't drink because we enjoy it. We drink because we need to get closer in order to procreate, right? So this was our perspective. So it was not going down very well, let's just say. It was like tumbleweed across the stage. But one speaker got up and he was watching closely what was going on. And he said, you guys are clever, but you're not as smart as you think you are. He said, you think we're here to brainwash you. But ironically, you are so brainwashed that you don't know the difference between what works and what doesn't. And he asked people in the crowd who were in their teens to put their hand up. And he said, if you are running out of money at the end of month, keep your hand up. Then he said, those of you in your 20s, identify yourself, put your hands up. And he said, keep your hands up if you are running out of money at the end of the month. And most of them were running out of money. Then he did the same for those in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. He said, guess what? Do you all realize what's going on here? Each and every one of you are running out of money every month, yet you all continue to do the same thing. He said that's what Einstein calls insanity. He said the reason why you all continue to do this is because you're so brainwashed. You believe that your wealth is connected to the letters you receive after your name. In other words, your qualifications. He said you spend your first 20, 21, 22 years in life getting qualifications. He said, I found as a high school dropout that a much better measure of wealth, rather than letters after a name, are numbers in a bank account. And when he said that, it was like I was hit by a bolt of lightning. Because not only was he completely undermining my entire belief system that I had around money, he was saying that not only was I in the wrong race, I was running at speed in the wrong direction in the wrong race. All of my friends, family, peers, parents, all of them were following the same system. And guess what? He was right. We were all in debt, hundreds of thousands. I was 300,000 in debt from negative equity, and credit card debt. But on the outside, everything looked good. Had the house, had the car, but I didn't own any of it. And it's so easy for us to convince ourselves that it's okay, it's normal because everybody else is doing it. And if this thing was real, surely we'd all be doing it. And it's okay because we're all on the same boat. What's the problem? Well, simply put, we're on the Titanic and we're busy rearranging the deck chairs on the top of the Titanic because most people are going deeper and deeper into debt. And if anybody mentions sticking on a life jacket or getting into a rescue boat, people will say, don't go near the crazy people. Just stay where you are. You're fine, even though the debt is getting higher and higher and higher. Hopefully this makes sense to you, because it always feels a bit uncomfortable when you're moving away, even if it is from a sinking ship. But that's how most people are financially. Just ask to see their bank accounts, ask to see their mortgage. You'll see now over 90% of people on the planet owe more than they own. In fact, your 5-year-old neighbor is probably better off financially than you. If you actually cashed in your chips, your 5-year-old neighbor, there's a highly likelihood owes less money than you do. But nobody questions this. It's uncomfortable. It's not the kind of thing that you bring up in front of your friends and family, nor do I expect you to, because that's their journey. This is yours. And that's why I want to congratulate you, because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But that is what the vast majority of society do, but not you after today. Today is about making a change and actually looking at, well, what's happening? Is the internet a scam, or is it the biggest vehicle of all time to get wealthy? The wealthiest person in the world owns a bookshop on the internet. He's worth over $200 billion now, and that's after being divorced. That's when you know you're doing okay financially. All of these people, the primary source of their wealth is the internet. Yet we somehow convince ourselves, as we make them richer and richer with every day that passes making money for them by spending money online, that for some reason it's not for us. When in fact, it absolutely is. That first time you tried to buy something online, it didn't work out for you. It was difficult. The timer ran out. You didn't get your credit card details in time. But guess what? Because we're of consumer mindset, we said, next time, I'm going to figure it out. And you did. You made sure you figured out how to make other people money. Making money on the internet is the exact same. The first time, it might be a little bit tricky because it's new, it's different. But guess what? The second time, it's familiar. The third time, it's a habit. And suddenly you've turned the whole thing around, that you never have to worry about being short of cash for the rest of your life, because you learn how to sell anything to anybody, anywhere, at any time. And this is where I'm from, in Limerick, Stab City, as it's also known as. There's the grassy knoll from where I was rescued as a child by wolves and raised for many years, the castle I live in now. Here's me as a 7-year-old. I know you're expecting the story, the guru story, so I'd hate to disappoint you. And you might think, God, what happened to him? He looked so angelic back then. Well, what do you think happened? I'm Irish. Alcohol happened. And if you follow your passion, as you're asked to do in many mindset seminars, this is where you end up if you're Irish in your 20s. But I got lucky because one day by my trolley, somebody left a laptop with a wireless connection, and I went on to make millions on the internet, right? That's the sort of standard story that you're expecting to hear. Well, I filled you in already. Both my parents are teachers, so there was no choice. I was always going to end up in the corporate route until at 30 years of age, sitting at that event. Everything changed for me. I bought 3 programs. I invested in 3 separate workshops from 3 strangers. And every day since, I am so grateful that I made that decision. I stuck it on a credit card. I didn't even have the money, but the way I justified it was this. I've lost in the property market because everything went south at the wrong time for me. I lost money in the stock market because I thought it was easy. It was either up or down or sideways, but somehow I managed to lose all of my life savings on the stock market because I thought it was just straightforward, get in and get out, which it is, but you just need to know when to get in and get out. And you need help on that, right? But with the internet, you're learning how to sell anything to anybody, anywhere, at any time, at no cost. You just got to learn how to do it. And the only cost that you have in 2020, 2021 right now is this: ad spend. And ads have never been cheaper. This is the first time since I started in 2009 that all of the softwares you need are completely for free. It is an incredible opportunity. And I want today, this moment right now, to be your before picture. I'm going to invite you in a few minutes to grab your phone and take a picture of you looking at the screen today, because we all wish we took the picture before the diet, but we forget to. But today can be that seminal moment from you when you say, no more waiting around, no more hardship stories. Because if you're pointing the finger at somebody else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. 1 is saying, become aware of the problem. 2 is own it, take responsibility for it. And number 3 is, let's take some action and fix this. Because the level of thinking that got you into the problems that you have today, so to speak, is not the level of thinking that will get you out of it. You need somebody to show you a different way. And within a year of me starting, I made my first $1 million on the internet, which was pretty crazy if you think about it, because I've had to work in a job for I don't know how many years to get to that point. Now, no story is complete, of course, without the acknowledgement of Tony Robbins. And sure enough, I also went to an event just after the 3 workshops that I had paid for to learn about the internet, where I asked my boss to go and to pay for this leadership event. Now, he didn't know who Tony Robbins was, much like I didn't, but his name kept coming up at the workshops that I went to. So my boss agreed he would pay for it. It was New York City, St. Patrick's weekend. I thought, amazing, all-inclusive trip paid to New York. How could this possibly go wrong? Well, that was until Tony Robbins stepped up on stage and said, "Everybody, I want you to jump around like complete lunatics." And to my absolute shock and horror, out of the 3,000 people that were there, 2,990 people started jumping around like lunatics. And I started backing up to the closest exit. And you could not make this up. I bumped into a guy, ginger hair and freckles. He couldn't have looked more Irish if he tried. We were probably related, in fact, if we spoke for much longer. And he just looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, "Before you say anything, I just want you to know, I didn't use my money to be here today." He said, "Forget the money. I've already written it off." He said, "I was skeptical in advance. Now I'm certain of it. I've seen this. This is a cult. I've seen it on National Geographic or something. This is a cult. Now I know how we'll walk across the fire. We're going to drink suicide tablets, and they're going to get rid of our bodies and the evidence as they drag our bodies across the hot fires later. It makes so much sense. Will we just go for a drink? It is Paddy's weekend after all." I said, "You know what? Maybe I will." And Tony said, "Oh, by the way, those of you not dancing, you're walking on fire tonight. If you don't do everything I say, you're going to burn." And I said, "Oh, well, fair enough, Tony. That's all I needed was a bit of motivation." So off I went, jumping around the room. And this picture is at that moment that captures that exact moment when we touched. In fact, if you look closely enough, if you look really closely there and move in your eyes to the screen, you'll actually see the exact moment that we touched. There it is. And it was definitely God, because my leprosy was cured instantly. What did I do? I texted my boss. I told him his services would no longer be required. I was going to go live with passion. I was going to go fake it till you make it. But guess what? None of those strategies work as a long-term solution. I ignored everything that Tony said about get yourself a coach, get yourself a mentor. Success leaves clues. And when you're Irish, you tend to forget that stuff. You prefer the non-salesy stuff. You hate sales, in fact. So what ended up happening? I quit my job, told everybody they were losers for staying in a job, and then decided I was somehow going to master the stock market. What a surprise when that didn't work out, because I didn't pay for coaching or mentoring. That was when I went and started on my online business. Why? Because it costs no money, literally nothing. So I had my education, and now I decided, right, I got to figure this out. And 4 months later, I had my coach teaching me what to do. I'd made $10,000 in a month. That doubled the next month. That doubled in the next month again. That doubled in the next month again. I've gone on to make tens of millions of dollars since then. I get to share my story and every single year to hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. And as that person who sat in the audience, as the ultimate Irish skeptic who said this couldn't be true, because if it was, surely everyone else would be doing it, and actually realized, hang on, the moment that you worry about everybody else is it's a scapegoat, because you can never answer for everybody else. The only person you can answer for is you. The real question is, if it's this good, why am I doing it? And the answer is usually, well, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of failing, or I'm afraid of succeeding. But either way, surely that's a better outcome, to succeed or to get going and get started and actually get complete ownership of your financial destiny, because half of all the jobs that exist today will be gone in 15 years. So that's not exactly much of a rescue plan or a safety net, right? So that's what's so, I hope, inspirational for you in this, is that you just have to make a decision that you're committing. I commit to doing this until I at least match my salary. In 2 months from now, you'll be in the top 0.1% most knowledgeable people in the planet about how to make money online. That's how quickly this happens. I got to meet Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. When we met, I was making more money from Twitter than he was. John Assaraf, John DeMartini from The Secret, who've become great friends over the years. Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad. Tony himself, who I've met numerous times since. Ladies, you've already spotted this, but guys, just in case you didn't, look at the size of his hand. I do not know how this guy uses his phone for text messages. But I've been speaking on stage with Tony for almost 5 years now. And this isn't to say to you that speaking is the answer or being a public figure is the answer. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I believe it or not, I'm introverted. I never wanted to speak on stage, but because people asked me to share what I did, that's what kind of created this situation. You can be completely hidden in the background. Nobody ever needs to know it's you. You just create a brand. Think about it. Costa Coffee, Starbucks, McDonald's. It doesn't seem to do them any harm that Mr. and Mrs. Costa aren't taking selfies first thing in the morning, right? So you create a brand and hide behind it, or you use your personal brand. The choice is yours. But the most important thing I want you to appreciate is this is all on the side of whatever you're currently doing. You can do this in just a few minutes a day. If you do not do this, I'm telling you, you are setting yourself set up for failure if you're reliant on somebody else to pay you or give something like handouts in the event of anything like 2020 happens again, right? But the thing about this is it's no more time than you're already spending online. It took me 1 year to make my first $1 million. In fact, it's not that long ago, then it was a 10-year anniversary of that. And I get to share the stage with some, very, very famous people, presidents, prime ministers. And that's not what impresses me. What impresses me is the fact that anyone that starts from scratch now can do this, even if they want to be hidden in the background. And my company, the Rethink Academy, I just like working with normal people and empowering you to rethink and create an extraordinary life. And we help people from all sides of things like time, money management, social media advertising. And we actually have a collection of books that we're releasing over the next 5 to 10 years. Today, I'm talking about social media, but that's the most important thing here is, it doesn't take hype. It doesn't take everything is awesome. It just takes looking inwards and saying, do I want to stay where I am stuck? Or do I want to feel like, you know what, here's a clear plan. Here's something I can do because I'm already making other people rich on the internet. Surely it's time that I did it for myself. And in fact, I teach children and teens exactly the same stuff as I teach to adults, except through cartoons. We have a company and a foundation called Financial Freedom, which teaches children and teens across the globe how to earn their own pocket money for themselves. And that money's not just about what you can get, but also how you can give back and help the less fortunate children across the globe who aren't born into some of the same circumstances. In today's world, believe it or not, half of the entire world earn less than $10 a day. So there's a lot we can be grateful for. But even more so, if you start to learn this is like literally child's play. Salman came to the workshop with his dad because the babysitter cancelled. He made £150 in 11 minutes. Every adult had the same look on their face, which was this: you little shit. How dare you prove to us that this actually works? I said, what did you do? He said, exactly what Paul said. We're like, oh, kind of hoping that it wouldn't work, right? And that's why I started focusing on children and teens with our new company and foundation. And we launched it in South Africa last year to 55,000 children in our first ever event. And it's so inspiring to know the difference you can make, the ripple effect you can have by just making that decision that, you know what, I'm going to learn this stuff. Now, let's be clear. When I started, this was not my ambition. It was not to save the world. It was to get rich. It was to make money. It was not to have to rely on a job. And that's perfectly fine to get started with. As you create more wealth, as you start to grow and grow, you start to realize, wow, there's so many people out there you can just help too. So again, whether you want to be hidden in the background or to the forefront, the internet doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're 11 years of age or 88 years young. This works for absolutely everybody, whether you're selling your own products or products that already exist. People want them, right? And Runa here, for example, made £100,000 in 4 hours. Now, why am I sharing this? Well, firstly, I want to have full disclosure. Any success story or any result that I share with you here, I need you to know these people have been to a workshop of mine. They didn't just pick it up in an hour or half an hour. They learned skills. They followed steps. Now, I have good news and bad news about the workshops. The bad news is you can go to the website right now and you won't be able to book. It's £4,997 per ticket. The reason why you can't book is we are not doing any in-person events for the foreseeable future. They've been booked up since last March. We haven't been able to run any since. The good news, however, is we do have an online equivalent and we start teaching you before you come to the workshop. We don't wait for you to come like a blank canvas to the workshop. We teach you in advance. That's what worked for me as a student, right? I needed time to learn it and digest it first and then come to the workshop rather than the other way around. And in fact, we get started straight away. we get started straight away, and I'll be giving you times and dates a little bit later. But you know what? I want you to take the momentum that you're going to build right now and take it and immediately use that enthusiasm to say, this is happening right now. I'm not waiting any longer. Janet here on her first Facebook ad spent £8 and turned it into £1,350 that should be. And she said, Paul, do you know what she did? She made it in 12 hours and she panicked. She said, this can't be legal. And she turned it off. She turned off the ad. You said, how could that be legal? How can you make that amount of money in that space of time? Because we have this mindset that you've got to work hard in order to generate an income. That's not how the internet works. Alison here is 63-year-old grandmother with 3 grandkids in her care. Now, these are not my most successful students, but for me, they're some of the most inspirational. She knew nothing about the internet, no products or services of her own. And she said, Paul, look, I think of it like a cookbook. You know, you might know the ingredients, but if you don't know how to mix them in the right way and cook them for the right time, it goes in a mess and comes out a mess. She went on to start making over £10,000 per month from her online business. So whatever your excuses are, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too handsome, I'm not good looking enough, whatever it is, you need to put them behind you, because the world is moving on, and it's never been easier to earn a living if you know where to look, if you follow the skill sets that are working for people today. And as Alison used to say, Paul, if somebody else can do this, then so can I. And that is exactly the attitude I would love for you to adopt, because that's exactly what will work for you too. Now, here's the moment that I said I would like you to grab your phone and take a picture. Please take a picture here of the Rethink Social Media Blueprint, your 9 steps to online success, right? And if you'd like, you can take a picture with you in it, because this can be your before picture. The day that you decided, no more messing about, no more making other people rich, it's time for me to get involved in the party, right? So I'll give you another 5 to 6 seconds to take a picture of this, and keep it on your phone, save it to your favorites, because these are the areas that you need to make this work for you. Position yourself as an expert when you're not one. The right niche for you. How to build a database to whatever size you wish. And what do you sell? How do you find the products for you to sell that are going to allow you to earn money every single day, every single week, every single month? How do you free up the time to do all of this, right? That's also just as critical. And one of the things that I think is essential in any blueprint is also talking about money and how money works. Because for me, you know, it's one thing to earn it, it's a whole other thing to keep it and to grow it. But ideally, you want to learn all of this from the same spot, okay? So quick recap for you. What do you need to succeed online again? Pick a niche where people are spending money every single day. Then it's easy to find the people. 2, build a database to match your financial requirements. 3, automate the process of making money from this. And 4, you absolutely 100% need help. The reason we learned how to read and write and walk and talk and spell and cycle was because somebody who knew how to do this showed us how. The challenge in grown-up life is we do not have people to show us how to grow wealth, how to set up successful businesses, because those types of people aren't around us very much. In fact, they're quite a rarity. So that's why you need to find people who do that, so that you then have absolute certainty and assurance that this will work for you. So some of my clients you'll have heard of, like Johnson & Johnson and Booking.com, I charge £10,000 a day to go in to speak to these guys. Why am I telling you that? Because you are learning right now the most sought after business skill in the world. Not social media, but how to make money from it. In 2010, I was charging €30 an hour. I remember my coach saying, God, you're so cheap. Today, my one-to-one mentoring is £85,000 plus VAT, and it's booked up for over a year. There's no slots available on it. Now, I'm sharing this with you because what else could you start learning today and commit to start today that over such a short space of time that you can add so much value to yourself, that you're worth hundreds of pounds per hour? In 2 months from now, you will be in the top 0.1% most knowledgeable people on the planet about how to make money online. That's how quick this can happen for you, right? So if this isn't your plan A, you better have one hell of a plan B, right? Because this is a consistent and ever-growing income that's not reliant on anything in the external environment, and you're never anchored by one specific product or service or whatever it is. You just say, I don't mind, I move on. I can sell whatever I want to, whoever I want, whenever I want. And this is how it works now. Please watch very closely at this. This is so exciting. We go to Google when we have a problem and we type in a question like, or a statement like, I want to lose weight. And what shows up are websites that are offering us solutions to that problem. And they're usually looking to sell us something. But what if I could show you a magical website that when you type in the same statement that it doesn't give you websites looking to sell you stuff, but instead it gave you a list of people who just said they had that problem. Might that be a game changer for you? Type in yes if you think yes, that would actually make a massive difference. And what if I said if it was free? Right? Now, the thing is, we teach all of the different social networks, myself and my coaches, but I'm going to prove to you with the social network you'd least expect to work in business, just to show you what you've been missing out on. Just to show you that this device could indeed be worth its weight in gold to you if you had only known how to use it in the right way. Let's talk about Twitter. You type in the same statement, I want to lose weight. Look what shows up. Real life people like Carla saying, I want to lose weight. Linda, I'm watching the meerkat manner. I want the same metabolism as a meerkat. They lose 5% of their body weight overnight and need to eat lots. Caitlin, I only want 2 things, to lose weight and to eat. And if you scroll down, there are hundreds more people saying that they have that problem right now. Now you might think, Paul, that's amazing, but I don't have any weight loss products. Best of all, you don't need them. You go to a brand that you know, like Weight Watchers. You go to their website, you sign up for free and become their partner. They give you a unique link that's all yours. And if anybody buys anything from Weight Watchers through that link that they give to you, you get paid a commission into your bank account, by check, by PayPal, whatever way you want to get paid, they'll pay you. You're going to think, Paul, but why isn't everybody else doing it, right? It's so quick for us to ask that same question. Why isn't everybody else doing it? The real question is, why aren't you doing it? Because you didn't know how. And you can type in any problem. How do I trade the stock market? How do I get a new job? How do I interview better? How do I create an amazing CV or resume? How do I have a better relationship? How do I help my child sleep through the night? How do I get fitter? How do I get healthier? Whatever it is, there's a whole list of people that will appear right at this very moment in front of you. Now, my question will be, am I a little bit late starting this? You could not be starting at a better time. Well, let's go back to our friend Tony Robbins. 3 million followers on Twitter. 3 million. This is so good it should be almost illegal. When you learn how to use Twitter advertising, not only can you put your message in front of his followers, Twitter will get for you what they call lookalikes. So people similar to Tony's people, 92.1 million people you can get your message in front of right away. Think about that. If you're thinking about writing a book, forget it. Nobody cares. Sell Tony Robbins' book to Tony Robbins' people, Tony Robbins' events to Tony Robbins' people. You could make hundreds of dollars in commission by him doing his event and you never even showing up. Sell Oprah's books to Oprah's people, Richard Branson's books to Branson's people, Harry Potter books to J.K. Rowling followers. Just give people what they want. Get out of your own way and just let the money flow. Type in OMG if you're having a bit of an OMG moment right now, because this is when you got to wonder, why do people go to work when you could just sell their products to other people all day long? When you're using ads, you can get as many clicks as you like to your opt-in page for people to join your list from Twitter. Conversions means you only pay when you collect an email address. Or if you're sending people to a sales page, you're only spending money after you get money. You only pay after you make a sale. Now, if you're a business owner, you're going to think, what? That doesn't sound like business. Just like one of my accountants says, he said, Paul, you don't teach business, you teach magic. I said, what do you mean? He said, there's no risk with what you do. There's no outlay. There's no bank loans. There's no business plans that need to be made up. There's no get into debt and hopefully you get out of it eventually. I said, I know. Even that accountant has stopped selling his services per hour. He started to create digital products. He started to make money from recommending softwares like Sage and Xero, and he gets paid from his clients monthly. And when your accountant does that, you know that you're onto something good, right? Type in magic if you're starting to see the possibilities that are here right now, right? Now, this gets better and better and better. You can type in the keywords, any word, stop smoking, lose weight, need a six-pack, whatever it is, and your message will appear in front of those people. If you're into property, you can target people watching any program like the Grand Designs and say, are you watching Grand Designs right now? Would you love to know the top 5 mistakes each self-build owner wish they knew before they started? Download this guide right now. You build a list of people that are about to go into self-build with hundreds of thousands of pounds. If there's a program about service accommodation, if there's a program about properties to rent, if there's a program about the X Factor, anything, you can get a football match. You can sell Liverpool jersey to Liverpool fans, Everton jerseys to Everton fans. During the political debates, Trump versus Biden, for example, you can sell I love Trump t-shirts to one side, I love Biden t-shirts to the other side, right? Get out of your own way. The products already exist. You can make money no matter what way you look at this. Type in wow if you were thinking, oh my God, I've been so overcomplicating things. Because the more charged up somebody is, the more ready they are to be charged. The more polarized they are on their views, the more likely they're going to buy. Imagine any TV show, whatever they're interested in, whatever events, you can get right in front of them. Imagine if you're not doing this in your business right now, right? Who thinks, by the way, I might be able to help you just a little bit with your business or your brand new business? Type in please help into the chat right now, okay? Because I am only touching the tip of the iceberg here. We could just target wealthy people if you wanted. You can target people based on whether they own a home, 23 million, or rent a home, or in the market for a home, the value of their home, the characteristics of their home, the type of pets that they own, their credit history or credit worthiness, 11.6 million with excellent credit history. When you run out of them, 6.2 million with very good. The type of car they drive, the type of credit card they own, the financial services they use, their net worth, 100K to 1 million, 1 million plus, 1 million to 2 million. How much income is coming into their house? How much spare money do they have? How affluent are they? Affluent parents, 3.5 million. Who would have thought there was such a thing? Ladies, if you learn nothing else today, affluent single men, 768,000. Ladies, you can close down those Tinder accounts. No more swipe left, no more swipe right. Get straight onto Twitter. Lots of soulmates waiting for you right there. You can even find out the value of their home while they're at it. Who needs this in their lives? Type into the chat right now, I need this now, right? Maybe you were looking for a miracle and suddenly you're like, oh my good Lord, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Some of you are thinking, how do they know this information? That's like asking, why is the sky blue, right? And why does the earth go around the sun every day? It doesn't matter what the answer is. The question you need to be asking is, where has this guy been my whole life? And how do I use this asset right now? That's the question to ask before everybody else starts to figure this stuff out. It's right there, literally in front of you. Press the buttons are right there in front of you to make this happen. The choice is yours. And I'm certain you are going to commit to say, no more living in the dark ages. I've been missing out big time. And I would agree. Facebook, they make it so easy that the person doesn't even need to type in their email address. They click the button twice. Facebook enter the email address for them automatically. That type of ad is called a lead generation ad. $1 per person per month, £1 per person per month, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? You either get used by these ads and targeted, or you turn the whole thing around. And right now, never has there been more money spent on the internet. Never, ads have not been this cheap in years because of COVID. Small businesses have shut down. There's less competition. You are receiving right now the luckiest break ever. Now, I know there's been so many downsides to COVID. You must think, where is the upside? This is the upside. People are spending more than ever. Ads are cheaper than ever. When is the perfect time right now for you to get started pressing buttons and making money for you rather than for others? Right now, of course, right? Now, I do have a Twitter and Facebook ads training course online. It's 2497. I would advise you not to go and buy it there because I want you to have an absolute no-brainer before we finish up here today. I'm going to make you an offer today that is zero risk whatsoever, all upside. You are going to get so excited by it because when you realize what is right in front of you right now, you are going to be so grateful. And again, I am that student who sat on one side full of skepticism, and I know it works. And that's why I want you to be so certain that you're in the right pair of hands here, because this absolutely will work for you. Now, I haven't even got into Instagram, the fastest growing social network out there. Jake, who I met in a beach, actually, when we were on holidays, I met him randomly. He's a teacher, was a teacher in Manchester, quit his job. He made £26,000 in a single hour. He came to my workshop. Vishal, he also came to the workshop, quit his job, made £45,000 in 3 hours from Facebook Messenger. Again, these are tools that you're aware of, but you're probably getting used by them as opposed to using them to completely change your own financial situation. The internet doesn't discriminate on age, size, sex, whatever it is. It doesn't care. You just got to know how to use it as a tool. That's all it is. Alfred here, in case you think you're too busy, he works in the medical profession. Very, very busy, works 60 hours a week, does this on the side. Before the workshop, he was making $200 a day. By the time the workshop came around, he was doing $350 a day. That's $127,000 per year on the side of having a full-time, busy 60-hour-a-week job. James here earned 2.2 million since starting in November 18. I mean, who would like just 10% of that? Even just 1% of this, right? These are real people, UK-based, just sharing success stories with the UK for you guys today, right? It's just incredible. I mean, who wants results like this in their life? Type into the chat right now, I want this now. Let your conscious, your subconscious, your unconscious know that this is happening, right? You do not want to be left behind any longer. My own personal opinion, 5 years from now, everyone will have to have an internet business, because you just won't be able to rely on other businesses to pay you salaries anymore as long as technology continues to change as it does. So rather than seeing that as a threat, you want to jump in now, get in front of the wave, and do it while all the softwares are free. You can start everything you need, get everything up and running for free. The only cost is ads, which is incredible. No bank loans, no having to write out business plans. There's no risk at all, because you just give people what they want, right? And for as little as £1, you're going to be building your email list, £1 per person per month, incredible returns. And again, in the workshop, I pull all of this together for you, but we start right away. We get started this week, straight away, get going, including I pick your niche for you, right? You don't even have to worry about those things. I do that for you. We pick it, move forward, and we move on. So that's niche sorted. Social media, now you've just seen how it's so different to what you might have thought up until now. The next step then is you offer something for free to build that list and build your database. And we have lots of trainings that help people, show you how to grow it, what kind of products to promote if you don't have your own, and how do you set this up that it's automated so you're building your list every single day. That is easy. The softwares are free. And the bit though that most people want to wrap their head around is, but what do I sell? How do I automate this kind of money side of it? How do I choose what to sell and what do I sell? Now that's the consumer mindset, thinking about what can I buy, what can I buy? But as I mentioned earlier, think broader, think solutions. Think there's no end of products that you can buy, so there's no end of products that you can sell. You can sell whatever you like. So we start off by, well, what are other businesses' products that I could sell? Anything you could buy on Amazon today, you could be selling. I don't mean filling up the warehouse in China and ordering stock. No, I mean literally any books that I have behind me here that you could buy on Amazon, you could be selling them and making money. It's the same with eBay. Any of the world's best training courses, events like Tony Robbins, who we mentioned earlier, right? His tickets are $4 or $5 up to $800 for his events. You let his people know they're on, you get paid up to $100 per event, even though he's doing the talking, right? You might think, what? Why isn't everybody doing this? Because they're too busy doing other things. When you are, and I want to commend you on this, spending time listening to this, more accurately, investing time, learning how you can start to implement this in your life. You can create your own products later, of course, too, if you wish. In fact, you will save more money in the next 3 to 6 months than you will invest in your entirety today in me, just by how you change your spending behavior online. Because when you're spending, you realize, hang on, money's moving out. How do I get a portion of that to come back? Now, that's just saving money. What about earning it? Well, I'll show you how you can earn $600 a sale, $1,800 a sale, even up to $4,000 from a single sale where you're not even doing the selling, right? You can do that from just promoting my products. And that's what so many of my clients do. They say, well, I'm loving what you do. I love your workshop. I love what the training. How do I just make money by recommending this to people I know or people I don't know? I said, well, no problem, right? That's the whole point of this, is we want everybody to be successful. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm not checking social media. I'm checking how did sales go last night. So we have this program. It's just access to a membership site, and it's $997, right? It's actually £997, but it shows up in dollars and in ClickFunnels, the tool that we use. But every single item here, line item 997, is a payment that's coming into an account for a completely passive program that I've no involvement with, no live interaction, no workshop, nothing, just purely access to a training online. 997, and no, you never get tired of saying 997. Just to show you individual days what this looks like. June 13, 17,000. Oops. June 12, 20,000. June 11, 23,000. June 10, 26,000. June 9, 10,000. June 8, 5,000. June 7, 19,000. June 6, 9,000. Last 7 days, 204,000. Last 4 weeks, 500,000. Last 12 months, 1.6 million. Another website. Last 4 weeks, 70,000. Last 12 months, 2.14 million. Mid-Corona, July 232,000, June 240,000, May 578,000, April 493,000, February 329,000. You probably notice I get more excited about the social media stuff than the money. because the money for me isn't exciting, right? Once you get money taken care of, you don't get emotional about it anymore. It's just purely about what you put out, you get back. You build your database, follow the system, and money, like for some people here, it's like winning the lottery every single month, right? And those people will say, it's a risk, don't go near the internet. The internet's a scam. And I say, my God, what else are you going to do that you're giving yourself the chance to create life-changing money in your life? Do you keep doing what you always did and continue to get what you always got? Or do you start to learn things that allow you to create life-changing money? Yes, it's a bit of work. Yes, you've got to learn new skills, right? But it's not like working out in the gym. It's not like you have to sweat. Not like you got to put on your spandex and embarrass yourself in front of mirrors and in front of strangers and pretend you need to know how the equipment works, right? You literally don't need to leave your room, your bedroom. You don't even need to get out of your pajamas. You just pick up your computer and off you go, right? So let's get some perspective on this. You already know how to make money online. It's time to do it for yourself. But remember, the internet is an SCAM, a systemized cash accumulation machine, right? So don't even get into arguments with anybody else anymore. Just agree with them. Let them to continue spend money online and start making you wealthy, because that's what this is about. Changing sides, changing perspectives, and just rethinking what you're already doing. You're already spending significant time on the internet. It's time to cash in on that now. And I would love to invite you to get supported so that this is not left to chance. What you do in the next 20 minutes is going to determine where you end up in the next 12 months, right? Because it's about getting help. It's about, first of all, asking for help, realizing that you need it, and then just following the system. It's pressing buttons in the right order, right? So we need accountability. Just like in school, we never did anything unless we got in trouble for not doing it. We also need accountability as grown-ups. Just like children are taught to read and write, we have to show them letters, the alphabet, words, sentences, etc. We haven't been shown the same as adults, right? Yet that's how we're expected to make a living. The obvious thing here is it's not your fault, and most people don't realize that. They follow the path that the whole point of it was to put people into debt so that they continue to go to work and do this and do this and do this, things they don't want to do, right? Not anymore. Not if you decide that enough is enough. What you're earning today is a direct result of what you know currently. What you learn from today is a direct result of what you start to learn from now on. Okay, and I really want to congratulate you again, because you wouldn't be here unless you've something within you that's saying, I need to make a change. I need to do something different. The secret to success is not a secret. Any business owner who's made it, any sports person that's top of their game, guess what? They all have a coach. They all have somebody who can see the finish line, who know the difference between a hurdle and the final destination, and they show you how to move around the hurdles when they inevitably show up. And that business, like life, has ups and downs. But when you've got somebody to show you, you climb up on the shoulders of that person and stay there and just follow exactly what they say. That's all you have to do. Follow the steps, right? Now, this won't take you a lifetime. It's taken you a lifetime to get you to where you are today, salary-wise. It will take you a few months to go and equal that, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. And this time, there's no upper limit. You just got to commit to saying, this is happening for me. No more messing about. It starts today. So I'm really excited to announce these dates for you, because you are the first people to see these dates. Please make a note of them, right? So we have support, coaching, a help center program, and a 4-day live training. 4 days live with me. I don't run the in-person ones anymore. So you have the privilege, I guess, without sounding too cocky about it, of me being your coach, me answering the questions directly for you. 4 days. Now, remember, we are teaching you before this, 4 days live, no traveling. It's from your home, from my home where I am right now. If you've got a funeral on those dates, as I say, cancel it. This is more important than death, right? So right now, starting from today, we are going to be getting you ready for this, right? So you get all of the training in advance, and then you come to the 4-day workshop. It's going to be first come, first served. If that date doesn't work for you, we will make sure we work with you to get another date for you. The picture you took earlier on your blueprint, this is the 4-day workshop. Not only does it show you how to, assuming wherever you're at right now, to set up a highly successful online business, right? Pick the right niche for you, position yourself as an expert, how to turn all of this into an income and money that continues to grow week on week, month on month, how to find the perfect products to sell if you don't have your own, how to run ads correctly. I also show you how to free up time so that you have time to do this. I've written a best-selling book on this. I'm also a qualified financial advisor This is why I spent 4 days on it, because I'm also going to talk about money and wealth, and not just how to earn more, but how to keep more and how to grow more. Everything built into 4 days, everything you'll ever want from a financial, money, mindset, and time management side, all for you. Because as I say, I want to give you all I have and learned over the past decade and more compressed into 4 days for you. But we start even before that to get you going right away. Now, you know from listening to me that mindset is of critical importance to me. I'm just going to give you right now, let you in on a secret, because when I tell you to go in a moment to join, it's going to be bedlam. But just once you know, when you pay in full today, I'm also going to give you my Magical Mindset program completely for free. It's £1497. That's all yours when you join today. No questions asked when you pay in full. And I'm telling you that now before the panic starts in a few moments. Luke, another great example. Paul, I earned $7,000 last week. It's going to be over $8,000 for the first time next week. Who would have thought this was possible just a few months ago? I've already paid my parents back for the loan. They think I am selling drugs. LOL. Now, believe me, you will not need a loan for what you see today. Because again, I don't need to rent a hotel out. I don't need to rent rooms. I don't need to fly my coaches or anything. I'm going to pass on all of the savings directly to you. A more recent email. Hey, brother, I made over $100,000 worth of sales in a day. Loving the journey. We had a catch up just pre-COVID. These results for 2019, $2.3 million. He shared with me for the first time that he slept in the car outside the workshop because he couldn't afford to stay in a hotel. Right? So whatever your excuses are, leave them behind, because that's all they are. It's about what you do from today. It's rediscovering that child within you, because this is child's play. £150, $190 in 11 minutes with Salman. That pales in comparison to our new record holder from late last year, Kiane. In 2 days in the workshop, made $13,000. It truly is child's play. All you got to do is play along, right? Stop questioning everything as an adult. Stop trying to find all of the problems that don't exist, right? We're scared, we're afraid. That's the biggest issue, right? But let's at least be aware of it, because the best thing that we can do to overcome fear is to get confident and to take all of the power back and just follow the system. Press the buttons. My job today is to press your buttons so that you press these buttons, because that's all it takes. The difference between you and someone making millions on the internet is the sequence of the keys that you press on the keyboard. It's time to unlock that sequence. And again, I'll be teaching your children and teens how to do this for themselves. The question I have for you is, who is ready? Type in, I'm ready right now. If you're deciding, that's it. You know what? I'm in. I get it. I'm in. I like this guy's style. Think about this is it's fun as well, right? And it's no BS. It's just, this is what you need to do. Follow the system. It works every single time. Why? Because we're just selling people what they want. We say, what if they don't want it? Then we'll sell them what they want, right? If they don't want it, by default, it's not what they want. So we just give them whatever they want. You can have as many income streams going at the same time. Multiple income streams, all from the same skill set, over and over again, in any country, anywhere, any products, any services. The sky is not even the limit, because you can go wherever you want at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Absolutely incredible. And here is your official invitation to come directly and work with me over the next few months. We start. Step one. And again, just so you know, I'm going to give you more than you ever need here. I'm going to give you the most incredible offer you're ever going to see, but I just want you to know that I'm doing this because you have everything you will ever need, right? We start live, okay? We start live. You can see the times and days here. Live with me. It will be recorded if you can't make it. There's no problem. And then we have 4 more web classes that will be drip fed to you. In fact, when you sign up today, they will automatically be brought to the registration page for that live web class. It will be recorded. If you cannot make it, no problem whatsoever. And 4 more drip fed to you after that in the lead up to the workshop. Number 2, speaking of the workshop, you've already taken a picture of it. We've got 4 days together live with me. I answer all your questions. It is the most incredible event you will ever attend online, and that it just covers all areas, from your business to ads to money to time management to mindset, all of the things compressed into one amazing life-changing event for you. And the feedback we get is just off the charts with that. It is truly life-changing. 4 days, and it's with me personally. Number 3, if you feel like you're challenged around technical issues, no worries, we will build your opt-in page for you, which is about as technically challenging as it gets. We'll teach you, of course, also, but we will build this for you too. Number 4, the thing I'm most proud of in our Rethink Social Media company is our help center. We have an average of 97% customer satisfaction. You have a year's access to this. These are all people who've come through as students who've decided that they want to be entrepreneurs, but also work as part of the Rethink Academy. It is absolutely amazing. We have 4 weeks in a row, over the last 4 weeks, we had 100% customer satisfaction at over 500 tickets per week. We work 7 days a week. Right, we're there to support you in any way that we can. We are the best in the industry at providing support because I was the student and because I know how important it is to have your hand held and for you not to feel that there's any such thing as a stupid question. No soldier left behind, so to speak. We're here to support you every step of the way. That's a total value of £4,000. Number 5, you get lifetime access to all of the training. You'll get login details the day after we do our live web class. You get private VIP access to all of the training that you need for Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, how to blog without having any content of your own, how to find a perfect product to sell, how to build your list, how to find somebody who will do all of this for you for as little as £4 to £5 an hour, right? It's absolutely incredible. As I said, there's no risk for you here because you've got lifetime access. You have this forever. There's £11,000 worth of training in there. We've also extra bonuses in there. But look, it's all going to be drip fed to you. Super easy to follow, step by step by step. Every step of the way, I assume you know nothing. I assume you don't have social media. I assume you don't even have a business, right? So we literally start from scratch and go from there. Number 6, this is to show you how much I care about your results. You'll never get this with anybody else's program for the investment you're going to make today. We are going to include live coaching calls. We'll walk you through how to make up to $4,000 from a single sale. Not 1 call, not 2 calls, but 3 success coaching calls live with you, holding your hand through the process, answering any of your questions. The total value of $1,997. We'll be including a couple of bonuses with that too, so that there's no way on earth, heaven or earth, that you won't make this happen for you. We're there with you every step of the way. And for those of you that have children and teens, we have a half-day online training for them. We're going to teach them about how to manage money so they'll never have to have money problems their entire lives. We'll show them how to set up a simple online business that can be set up in less than a day, that can be making the money in less than 48 hours. This is truly life-changing training that we're going to be giving you. You'll have access to this from this week, next week, once we go through the training Monday, and I'll be talking to you live and showing you how to access it. Incredible stuff here. Your kids and teens, they will pick this up immediately. Who needs outsourcers when you've got insourcers, right? Turn your liabilities into assets even within your own family, right? So let's look at this. You've got the live webinar coming up on Monday that's recorded if you can't make it. It doesn't matter if you have any business experience, none whatsoever, or if you have. It doesn't matter if you have no products or if you have products. It supports you either way. You get the ticket for the virtual 4-day workshop with me. You know the dates already. I'm going to put this in dollars, and then you'll see the pounds also. The opt-in page done for you. Access to the help center for an entire year. I didn't even mention that. You have a year's access. Lifetime access to all of the trainings. We have the live success calls. We have the half-day young adult training for $997. Paul, what's the real value though? These values of £30,000 or whatever for most people, they say, like me, it's like, well, nobody ever spends that, and you're right. The real value is when we launched this, and I'm going to share this in pounds because we launched it in London, it was £7,497 plus VAT, value added tax, okay, and 99 per month. That's what it was when it was in physical room and people had to pay and come to see us. Now you are in incredible luck right now because we're not running a live in-person events. Right? This is online that I'm talking about today. So I'm going to pass on the savings directly to you. And as I told you at the start, I was going to do something extra special for you, for your patients. This works for everybody. I want your face on this board. I want your face on this board quickly. Today's special for you. Right? I'm not going to reduce this by a measly amount of, let's say, well, let's start with 20% off, right? Excuse me. We're going to do a lot better than that for you, right? It'll be much more than 20% off. As I say, I want to pass on the savings directly to you, not 20% off. No, not even 40% off, right? In fact, I'm sure I can do a lot better than that for you, right? In fact, you can start typing into the chat Start giving me some encouragement by typing in more here if you want me to help you, right? It's not even going to be 60% off. That would be $2,997, which I have sold on stages across the globe for almost 9 years. More are coming in, lots of them. Well, guess what? You will get more. 80%. Oh, even more. Keep coming with the mores. I've got the power. I've got the clicker. I've got the clicker, right? We're going to go better. You are going to get 95% off. If you go right now, everything I just talked about, $497 plus the VAT if you're in Europe, everything we talked about, here is the link. Go right now. When you pay in full, of course, remember you are getting Mindset Mastery completely free. You can see the link right now. It's also going to be put into the chat for those of you that are here right now. Make sure you go right now. Okay, make sure you go immediately. Again, here is the link for you and your certificate, right? You're getting a £7,000 discount. This is only valid today, right? It expires tonight at midnight. The link is active right now. It's first come, first served. First come, first served, right? It's absolutely incredible what you're getting here. I told you I was going to make this unbelievably special. I went back and updated the slides to do something incredible for you, so that it was just something you've never seen before and will never see again. Now, by the way, when you take action right at this very moment, I'm going to make this even more enticing for you. I'm going to invite you, if you wish, to come and book a call. You can upgrade to book a one-to-one with me. Now, my one-to-ones consultings are $1,997 or £1,497. And you can, if you wish, after you purchase, but you keep going, by the way, right now, if you're purchasing, don't get distracted. You're going to get this as part of this. So you can upgrade if you would like me to work with you directly. It's $1,997 or £1,497 after you've paid. You don't have to do it. You can have a think about it. If you feel like, yeah, you know what, that makes total sense. I can easily see how I'm going to get way more than that money back. But you know what, when I thought about it, I said, I got to do something special for you guys after being so patient today, right? I'm going to heavily discount that. If you want to get a one-to-one with me, I'm going to discount this significantly. I am going to discount it by $1,997. Everybody that gets in right now, you are going to get upgraded for free. When you pay in full, you get me for free. Yes, one-to-one call with me for free, included with your £497, right? I told you, insane. I told you, you're never going to see anything like this again, right? I want to fast track your success, right? I want to make sure you've not got a single excuse right now that this is absolutely the right time, the perfect opportunity for you to get started. I'm discounting it so heavily, so you've got some money that you can even use in your ads here, right? I want to be absolutely sure that you know, right? Okay, I get it. There's no way I'm ever going to see anything as good as this again. And you are correct. When you pay in full, you get a one-to-one with me. And by the way, there is no time limit on that. Once we've done the workshop, we'll book it in, you and me in the help center. It can be this year, next year, the year after. There is no time limit. You have my word. We will have that call together whenever is best suited to you. As if you needed another bonus, I'm going to make this a no-brainer, and even more of a no-brainer. Who would love to bring a guest? Type in 2 if you would love to have a guest come with you. If you would love to have a second person that you can share the workshop with you, that you can share the 4 days together. So you've got this kind of buddy to help you on. Type in 2 right now if you would love to bring that guest with you. I'm going to wait till I see at least 32s come in right now. Okay, here come the 2s. Right, here they come, right? Well, guess what? When you get in right now, I am going to include as part of it a second ticket. 2 of you come to the workshop. Again, if this is for those of you getting in right now, it's for 2 of you, right? Now, I know people are saying, oh my God, I know, right? 2 of you are coming to the workshop for your $497. Now, by the way, the minute you pay, you are going to be invited to then register for the upcoming live web class next Monday. So just enter your details for that and you're automatically in the system. It's live next Monday. And again, if you can't make it, no worries. We will give you the recording the next day. Who wants more? Who wants more right now? Let's see if we give you another bonus, or I can skip to the end. Okay, you want more? Well, let's do it. As Warren Buffett says, the #1 rule in investing, never lose money. Well, guess what? I'm going to make sure you never lose money. You are going to get 2 money back guarantees. 2 of them, right? The first one is this. I'm going to take away all of your risk. I will give you all of your money back. Your £497, your measly little investment today, you will get that back. How? All you need to do is to recommend 2 people to my team. We can make this offer to them. It won't have the 2 people to the workshop, and it won't have the 1-to-1 with me, but it will have the other parts to it. Here's your certificate that you will get. You just recommend them to us, and you will get all of your money back. You will get your £497 back. As you can see here with Warren Buffett saying, never lose money. The most important rule, never lose money. Well, this means that with just 2 recommendations, 2 referrals, you get all of your money back. Why would I do that, you might ask? Because, quite simply put, matchmaking is the key. I want you to learn that it's so much easier to make money from others than having to do the work yourself. So that's for your first money back guarantee. And I'm going to give you a second one as well, right? If you decide to change your mind for any reason in the next 2 weeks, just send us an email, just reach out to us. There's no problem. If you don't want to do this, you've changed your mind after listening to this or after getting started, no problem. I don't want your money, right? If you're not going to do this, the whole point of this is you to be my next success story. I'm taking away all the costs and passing it directly onto you, right? And even if you change your mind, you let us know. We'll ask you why, because we're always interested to improve things, but we'll totally approve it. There's no problem, right? You know what I'm like now. I'm a student who did this and it works, right? You will also get $1,997 worth of free training, right? Great stuff, David. That includes the blogging training. We're going to give you the 3 live coaching calls. We'll show you how to make $4,000 from a single sale. And this is if you change your mind. This is if we give you your money back. You will also get $2,000 worth or £1,500 worth, right? I just want you to know there's no risk. The only risk you'll take today is not doing this. That's the only risk that's on the table today, is you not doing this, right? This is 100%, right? You've got 2 money back guarantees, 2 referrals, or if you change your mind in the next 2 weeks, money back anyway. And you know what? I'm going to go, there's still more is coming. And guess what? I don't mind. I told you, I'm going to be extra generous with you guys today. Warren Buffett says the #1 investment you can ever make is in yourself. I am going to allow you to give this to you and somebody else. This is going to be a 2-for-1 deal. Both of you access to training. Both of you get everything we talked about. You can come onto the 1-to-1 together. Both of you are going to come to the workshop together. What does that mean? You know what your investment works out at? 68p per day, or about 85 cents, right, in dollars, right? You cannot get a cup of coffee for that nowadays. You can't get a cup of coffee, right? Are you worth that? Are you worth that amount of 68p per day? I mean, you're worth millions of times that. You know that. But I just want to put this in perspective, that how ridiculous an investment that is. That's what this works out for you, for the 2 of you, for a year, right? And if you're a business owner already, this is a write-off against your company. It's a complete write-off. It's a marketing training. If you don't have a business, we'll be talking about in the workshop. I'm a qualified financial advisor, by the way, as well. I talk about not just how to earn money, but how to keep it, how to grow it, how to invest it properly, how to manage it. We include money management in the training. We include time management and how to free up time to easily fit this into your new life, right? This workshop is beyond amazing as far as I'm concerned. We've never got less than a 9 out of 10 in running this for over 5 years. And again, once you get in, make sure you register. By the way, congratulations to all of you getting in. Really, really excited for you. Thank you. I can see some of you have trouble getting in as well. Just keep refreshing, because there's a lot of people trying to get in right now at the same time. Thank you so much for that. You're going to absolutely love this. So let me just put that slide up here one more time for that link, right? Everything that you're going to be getting, right? And let me just recap quickly. You are going to be getting 2 tickets to the workshop with the coming dates. If you can't make the next dates, no problem. We'll chat about that on Monday live, which is the next day. Live training this coming Monday. If you can't make it, no problem. It will be recorded for you. What else? We have 4 more web classes that will be drip fed to you before you come to the workshop. Then we have a 4-day workshop live with me. If you can't make some of them, we can give you the various parts of it recorded, no problem, right? We're here to make you successful. You have a year's access to our membership site. You have lifetime access to the membership site, which has $13,000 worth of trainings on Facebook, YouTube, blogging, all of these elements, how to find the perfect products to sell if you don't have a business, how to build your list to match whatever your financial requirements are. Lifetime, you have it forever, right? In addition, half-day training for your children and teens around money so they never have to worry about these problems and you can work with them on this business too, right? All of this is going to be included in your membership site. So with all of that, you're going to get Mindset Mastery included completely for free. There's also, I believe, a payment plan available for you in there if you look closely. You have an alternative to do that instead. Just need to make sure you pay it in full by the time the workshop comes around. And you automatically get upgraded, that you get a one-to-one call with me. Right? When you book right now, you get a one-to-one call with me that won't expire. When you recommend 2 people, we'll give you all of your money back. If you change your mind in the next 2 weeks, we'll give you all of your money back. There's 2 of you getting access to all of the training. 2 of you coming to the workshop. You could not and you will not get any better offer about how to build an online business from anybody else, and I can guarantee you that. And we're including an additional 3 live trainings just to make sure that you know your hand is going to be held every step of the way through this process.
And just as I wrap up here, again, a huge thank you to Bernardo and all the team, Farah, everybody that's been working at this behind the scenes. If there are any outstanding questions, we'll address them in the chat for you. There's a couple of questions about payment plans. Yes, if you click on the link, you'll see the payment plan there, absolutely, but that will expire very, very soon. So please jump in and grab the opportunity. I'm so appreciative of being able to share the stage with so many incredible speakers today. So what I suggest you do is, if you want to do more, please come on board and join us, because it is going to change your life for the better. It's time to take control. It's time to rethink social media. It's time to stop wasting time online and start earning money. Thank you, everybody. Take care, and we will see you on our welcome web class this coming Monday.